reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. African dashiki, uncle around my neck, got his ISIS tatted on my belly, all about respect. I do it for the gods, I live for my queen. All my niggas kings, captain of my team. Life is just a dream, life ain't what it seems. You just a player in the game if you don't own the league. Hop on the magic carpet, fly with me to a whole new world that they call Elm Street. Stay away from haters, stay away from busters, because in Never Land ain't no room for these suckers. Stay away from haters, stay away from busters, because in Never Land ain't no room for these suckers. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock.
Oh my dear Mr. Williams. Information is power. If you don't have the information, one cannot seize power. You need to think about becoming mentally competitive. Being black does not free you from being a responsible individual.
Riverside, the turf, we in another zone. So futuristic, welcome to the Thunderdome. Posted in the hood, the homie got the chrome. And if you niggas tripping, silver bullets getting blown. There were real killers that'll kill you at your home. And if you niggas tripping, your body hitting a blow. Fuck the police is the code that I live by. Kill a pig, cook the swine, fuck the cop, I hope they die. Black man in America, I'm not opposed to shine. Living in this white man's world is a waste of time.
Black man in America, I'm not opposed to shine. Living in this white man's world is a waste of time.
They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. Thunder rock, thunder rock, thunder rock.
All aboard! It is time to hop aboard my spaceship, cause you are now tuned into What is the Matrix TV. I'm your host, the master of the universe, JasonElmst Williams, and tonight we're talking about 3-Eye Atlas. Is it a UFO? Is it a spaceship? Is it the ancestors' return? NASA and the government has officially launched an investigation with their highest telescopes, confirming that the comet or the spacecraft has blinking lights. But we know that our ancestors had advanced technology, so let's not get fooled. But before we start this discussion tonight, I want to introduce my special guest. We have Lana, the Empress El Anu in the building.
Woo, thank you. Glad to be here. Excited.
And we have brother Larry Daniels coming in from Florida. What's good with you, brother? So let's get it started. What do y'all think about the astronomers warning us that this possible UFO and comet is headed our way? Do any of you guys have an opinion? Do you think it's a comet or a spacecraft? And have you guys looked at the subject matter?
I don't know what it is. I am interested in hearing your perspective. I can only go by my vibes. And, you know, there's signs and wonders all in the sky right now, Jason. What you think? There's signs and wonders in the sky. There's things we've never seen before.
True.
Entering our solar system, and people are scared. So, yeah, I'm interested to find out, and a lot of people aren't talking about it for some reason. It doesn't seem like it's really front news, which I find interesting as well. So
I agree. I definitely feel that with the Charlie shooting, I'm sure there was something the other week before that we forgot about. All these are distractions. One, of course, the Epstein list, but really, like Lana said, this should be the biggest news. That's what it was. 2 weeks ago on TV, they showed that the military had attacked a UFO spacecraft in the sky and shot missiles, and one of the missiles hit the spacecraft, and the parts split, and then it went back into the spacecraft intelligently. Did any of you guys hear about or see that video?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I remember you posting it.
And that should have been, that right there was a test, because if people are more fascinated with a football game, then 50 years ago, that would have blown people's minds. 10 years ago, that would have not allowed to been on TV. But now the things that were called conspiracy theories, people lost their jobs and credibility, called crazy for, now is being revealed as true. So now that the government is slowly declassifying this information, basically they're saying that they lied to the public. And this is an alarming thing, because like Lana just said, no one gives a fuck. No one cares that the government just admitted that they found on TV, and you can type it in now on YouTube, it's no longer declassified, that aliens exist. But before we get into it, I want to show you proof of the aliens, and that these aliens are us as melanated people, and us as Moors, Indians, those who have been misclassified as Black and African American are descendants of aliens, and alien starts with an A-L, Al-Eon. And so Al-Eon, once again, that's a tribe, that's a nation, that's us, just like El Morocco. So we are the aliens, and through studying our culture tonight, we're gonna prove that we, our ancestors, built technology to travel through wormholes. We left proof of these devices that are called Stargates, pyramids, and the jet pillars, and also the We're going to break down how Nikola Tesla was a cover-up to hide the fact that melanated people already created technology for interstellar travel. So this is a video of me at the Temple of Dendera in Kemet, better known as ancient Egypt. We are at the Temple of Dendera in Africa, built by the ancient Kemites, better known as the Egyptians. These are our ancestors. These are our tombs. Peace to the planet, soul to the planet. This is the end of the days. We're about to shut this shit down. We are at the Temple of Dendera in Africa.
That was my favorite
Real
part.
history ain't no bet.
We are at the Temple of Dendera in Africa, built by the ancient Kemites, better known as the Egyptians. These are our ancestors. These are our tombs.
Real history ain't no bedtime story. It's Moors flexing at World's Fairs. Whole planet was glowing and bam, Hollywood pulled up. Them spotlights were ether cannons erasing Tartarian domes while y'all munching popcorn.
Yo, 20th Century Fox? That means 20th Century Reset. They erase in Moorish memory, turning truth into illusion. Hollywood the mask, cinema the new church, and they don't want you no one knew the empire they buried.
They use this cinema to rewrite our memory, to make us forget who we truly are, the true kings and queens of this land.
From 1646 to 1774, Moors fighting Moors, and don't get it twisted. It wasn't just colonizers shooting muskets. Dirty Moors selling out their cousins for titles and land. 379 years of bloodshed from Alaska to Chile. Let's not forget in 1524 they rename us Indians. By 1774, the Moorish nation was done, son. 1776, New World Order flips the switch. 1845 to 1876, orphan trains roll. They wiped nations, then replaced them with kids on trains. Cover-ups on cover-ups. 2020, small reset. They tell you wear a mask and stay inside. 1492, Grenada in America falls. Jesuits add 1,000 years, burying our tongue. Let me break it down for y'all. Tartaria, that was the millennial reign. Whole empire glowing off free energy. 432 hertz healing buildings. Ether ships riding the skies. Moors running the show. Then 1776 hit. Jesuits flipped the switch. Satan's little feasting kicked in. They burnt cities with dudes, buried them in mud, called it accident. They sold the tech, slapped y'all with 800 fake years, and sold you dark ages. Jesus lived through it. Saint Germain popped up like an immortal at the Declaration. 3 billion dead, yet population doubles? Nah, that was orphan trains, lunacy acts, baby farms, cloning, World's fairs, whitewashed Tartarian cities, burning after the show. Tesla? Maybe a ghost, maybe just a mask to hide what they stole. 20th Century Fox? Reset propaganda, cinema hiding the empire. In 2020, just a soft reboot, small reset. But July 4th, 2026, Satan's season ends. So remember, they buried us, but we still here. Still.
What do you feel about that, Larry Daniels? Is that powerful to you, Lana?
Oh yes, that's powerful, powerful, powerful. And I see where you're going with it. You know, because from what I feel like, it's our ancestors that are coming. You know what I'm saying? And can you break down what the 3 stands for, Jason? Because the 3, I don't think a lot of people know what the 3 is for, because in 2017 they had a strange object in the sky that they reported. It was like the size of a football field. And then in 2019, same thing, right? And then in 2024,
so the 3-eye atlas. Y'all
real quick, let me finish this real quick. And in 2024, they were speaking of a second moon that was supposed to be in the atmosphere. So there's all these events taking place within the past, few years that they're actually being honest about, but no one's paying attention. So yes, if you can explain why there's a 3 in front of that, maybe it'll help the listeners kind of put it together a little bit.
Like you said earlier, and how many launches you were telling me earlier?
51 within this year alone. 51 Falcon 9 launches from SpaceX. 51 alone. And the first time I saw it, I was in Tucson, Arizona. Flipped me out. I just went outside to go grab something out my car, and something said, "Look up," and I see it was just all these lights. And then now it's becoming normal. Most people, when they see it, they were like, "Oh, that's just a space launch." Well, that's not normal. That's like someone coming in your backyard and they just start pulling up plants and start rearranging things. Are you gonna be like, "Oh, they're just in the backyard rearranging my shit"? Like, there's people in your atmosphere. They're doing stuff that's not normal. There needs to be attention at this topic at hand. So yes, if you could tell us, Jason, what the 3I stands for.
Well, Brother Larry hasn't said anything yet. What do you think about this so far, brother?
This has been one of the most largest astronomical things that has ever passed by our local solar system. Like, there is a distant planet that's almost as big as this, and it's somewhere off the scale from the local solar system. But this one is really interesting. Like, and the fact it also has lights. There could be life inside of this. Like, what if it's a sign, a message, or a warning? You know what I mean?
Possibly. That's a good question right there. But like you just stated as well, this is one of the greatest aerial phenomenons, like you and Lana stated. They call it 3I Atlas, y'all, because this is the third interstellar object that they have witnessed and been able to identify that has entered our solar system. So in 2017, this cigar shape, and they made it clear that they said cigar shape. It's spelled OUMUAMUA. Oa Mu. So I see a Mu. So OUMU. So right there, we say Mu refers to us as Moor, bird. You feel me?
Yeah.
And always remember, vowels are interchangeable. People say, "Oh, the Moors did this." It's referring to you as highly melanated beings who can be traced back to the furthest and most advanced civilizations of antiquity. And yes, people who look like you made mistakes. But tonight, our best proof, we're going to try our best to prove what we're speaking of, whether it's a comet or not. Whether a spaceship does arrive, we're going to prove that our ancestors did build crafts and did build space edifices that were able for interstellar travel. But right now, we're seeing that the government is rolling out classified information that years ago was considered a lie and false. So now we have to recognize that the government has said that they've lied to us. I mean, it is what it is. So if they lied to us about aliens, that they admitted that one Harvard professor said 4, another whistleblower on TV said over 12 spacecrafts have been recovered, reverse engineered, and admits to various confirmed alien species. This year, over $100 trillion budget for national space defense. So we're going to get into Donald Trump moving the Space Force to Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, which now will be called Rocket City. Where's Alabama? Alabama, home and capital of the Choctaw. So right there, we find the Mississippi Mound Builders, which are landing sites for our crafts in Alabama, next to the Mississippi River. So what does Donald Trump, which we know when the trumpets blow, that's clearly a sign that they even speak of in their books. So when the trumpets blow, the crafts will come in. You have to remember, more than ever, y'all, we're talking about this out loud. 10, 20 years ago, this was beyond taboo. So the beehive wasn't connecting. Remember, we're one. We're connected. So the more of us who want a spacecraft, who want to get out of here, it's going to happen, regardless of if something arrives. But we want it to happen, so it's going to happen. This is their goal, to keep us on a one-track mind of distractions. Because when you study your culture as a Mu, a MU, a Mer, or a Martian, you'll understand that you are an immortal being, that you're made up of atoms, photons, neurons, and electrons, and we're going to get into it. So in 2017, the cigar shape entered our solar system and passed by. So that was the first, what they call crazy or strange or weird astrophysic phenomenon. The second was called the BORISOW, the Boris.
Wait, Jason, can you elaborate why it's a cigar shape? Like, why did they make sure they let us know it was shaped like a cigar?
Because we have to remember that when they say extraterrestrial or interstellar, for one, extraterrestrial simply means in addition to this planet. Earth is a new name. They used to call it Terra, Chi, Gaia, Geb.
Yeah.
So knowing that this planet was called Terra, Terra, that's why they call it Terra. Also, our terraform, extra terra, extra to terra. So that's one. And then Atlas Shrugs. So that's another story. But basically, when we study UFO crafts, Lana, there's multiple shapes of identified flying objects and unidentified flying objects. Some people say they're cigar shapes in ancient times. They call it the cigar shape. So do comets look like cigar shapes? So they're admitting that a craft did pass by this atmosphere. Whether they got off and communicated with them, we're not to that privilege yet, right? But what we do know is that, like you said, they made sure to say, oh, it was rocky, it was square shaped. It was specifically cigar shaped to let people know who study and read that a UFO or an identified flying object passed through. So that
Do they have it now? Are the shapes like that at in Egypt when you went? Did you see those shapes on the wall? A cigar-shaped object?
There are cigar-shaped objects. There's one that's famous that I thought I had tonight, but I didn't put on there. But we have other ones. That's at the Temple of Abydos. But there's multiple objects that I felt that I saw that can be considered crafts. So that's why I urge everyone to go to Kemet and make sure that you go with the correct people. I see so many people going to Egypt and just taking pictures, but they don't go with the right tour guide, so they don't get the real knowledge and information. They're just going to take pictures, not to get that spiritual, esoteric, metaphysical knowledge to get you to higher realms of planes of existence. Because at the end of the day, when we learn that our ancestors, first of all, we have to stop looking at reality through the colonizers' perspective, a Eurocentric ideology. Right here's a book, Lana, called Ancient Aliens of the Americas. And it speaks of various various types of crafts: cigar-shaped crafts, triangle-shaped crafts, square-shaped crafts, orb, circle space crafts.
Orbs,
So,
yes, the orbs they can change shapes too. So you said 2017 there was an object, and now in 2019,
this book is called Mission and Extraterrestrial Involvement by Dr. Malachi York. I just picked up as well. And the book I'm also reading, y'all, is Esoteric Egypt, The Sacred Science of the Land of Kim, by the author of it's called The Fallen Star Gods of Egypt. And it goes into detail how ancient Egypt is founded upon extraterrestrial beings, and that's what it's all about, is making contact. And of course, we are those beings that they speak of. So with going to 2017 was the first interstellar with the Oumuamua, and then the second was a comet, and it was from another star system, which still made it weird and crazy. But nonetheless, they said it was a comet. But this third one, which is different, is that it's traveling so fast that it cannot get caught in the sun's pull. And so recently, Lana, It just changed colors. And so they used the Hubble and James Webb telescope, and now NASA has confirmed outside of the Harvard scientists, excuse me, outside of the Harvard scientists, that it's nothing that they've seen before. And they said data proves that it's not a comet, but until it comes, of course, we won't know. But like Larry was saying, now it's blinking lights with different colors, y'all. And so this is what's baffling NASA, our government, that it's performing mechanical movers of intelligence. And last, well, not last, but also comets have a tail. And recently, the front of this object started protruding an energy source. So imagine the comet in the back, but instead of the back, it's coming from the front. And that's something that NASA and the government has quoted that they've never or have not seen before. So this is where we're at with something that everyone should be talking about, but we're being distracted. But let's stay on point. So right now in the Jason months, we see all these blood sacrifices, but we also see a disclosure. We see this year for a fact that we are not alone. So what they're doing, instead of knowing your culture, most people, they're trying to dictate what this event is going to be. But I'll pass the mic to you guys.
I was going to ask you, Larry, and or Jason, the question, because I did a little research on this 3i Atlas, and they're saying that around October 29th, October 30th, it's going to disappear, but it's working its way within our solar system. So they're saying that because of the gravitational pull, they use their terminologies, gravity, because of the gravitational pull, it's working its way into our solar system. So it will be now a part of our solar system. They're saying that this may be the cause of a blackout. What do you guys think about that?
Oh yeah, for real. Like recently it's almost going through Mars as we speak.
Say it again, louder, brother.
I said like yeah, it's going through Mars as we speak.
Yes, they were saying, like the picture says, y'all, it can do something unusual near Mars, which they're, don't quote me on this, they're saying a phenomenon, but when it gets close to the sun, from my understanding, they're worried about it disappears, or it's supposed to. We don't know yet, but this is supposed to be the closest interstellar object that's come to Mars, and I think that's what they're waiting on to see if there's some type of reaction. But either way, like Lana said, it's gonna cause a shift in our consciousness. It's gonna cause a shift in the Earth, or Terra, or Geb's atmosphere, which is gonna cause maybe ice caps to melt, Earth's or tectonic plates to shift, which is gonna cause a revealing of certain land masses, which is also going to cause people to act different or be different. Once again, this is why they poison the food, why they distract us with television, why they just gave us a preparation of Halloween with another blood sacrifice. And then Assata Shakur, rest in peace. So we have two political so-called figures. One, Assata Shakur, passes away of the ancestors, and one on the so-called colonizers so-called side. But who knows, this person still might be considered a whistleblower, if you know who I'm talking about. And Captain Kirk, Charlie Kirk, beam me up Scotty, that could just just playing with the dots, so Captain Kirk just got killed. Assata Shakur passed away. I forgot who else just recently passed away. A brother from Egypt, Mafudisi, I want to say, but one of the top brothers in the conscious community passed away as well. So before we move on to this picture, what were you saying now, Lana?
So I was going to tie it in with, yesterday I walked outside, took my dog for a walk, and boom, I see of course, the I didn't even know there was this rocket launch going on, but this one here, and normally I catch it, this one here lasted particularly longer than most. It was just going for like at least over 2 minutes. I was filming. What was so significant about that rocket launch versus the others? Irony with this 3i Atlas being so close into our atmosphere. Like, what's the significance behind it? Does anyone know?
I'm not sure. I tried to. It says 3i Atlas comet hurtling towards solar system, much bigger than previously thought. But and then countdown to launch of space plane, not so secret reusable space plane operated by the United States. I thought that's what was being launched yesterday, but I guess not. But everybody watching this, type in countdown to launch of space plane, and it's a secret space launch that's about to go on again as well. So for me, they're communicating already. We forget that they have some fake international space station, and they love talking about Mars. At the beginning of the year, Elon Musk was talking about colonizing Mars. We did a podcast episode on it. He literally had a shirt called "Colonize Mars."
Yeah.
And when we do our research, y'all, our ancestors teach us that we had or have civilizations on Mars, but there was a war that took place, and once again we had to take refuge on planet Earth. Some of us went to other planets. And once again, NASA scientists and the government is now confirming that they find water, that they find oceans. Other people say that they find structures on Mars. And once again, for me, Mars, Moors, Marvin the Martian, all refers to us as owls, the aliens, the true extraterrestrials who come from another star system, who came to this planet and created civilization. But go ahead, Larry.
Hold on.
You had something to say? But go ahead, Lana. So right here, go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything to say. I'm listening though.
Oh, so Larry, did you have anything to say? So Trump moves. Go ahead.
He'll come back.
Okay. So right here, y'all, to the next picture, Trump moves Space Force headquarters to Huntsville, Alabama, declares it Rocket City. So this entire year, we see they put a little hush on the robots, but we already know that China says that they've created more humanoid robots than humans. So we'll see if that's true, but that's interesting. And now we see that once again, that the president of the United States has created a space force. But who are they preparing for? And why in Alabama? And then Rocket City. So once again, the U.S. government is preparing already for interstellar space travel, because that's the next frontier, y'all. If you guys haven't got it yet,
Right.
that's there's nothing else to do. There's literally, everyone else is bored. So they have to control it. That's why they're creating certain events to create the lockdown. Watch the Justin Timberlake movies to where they'll have sections, to where they'll have time. Like, that's why certain districts will have good food, clean air, clean water. Others will have certain grades of food, certain grades of education. It's already happening right now, y'all. It's here. And so once again, they've admitted that aliens are here and possibly we're being visited. And Donald Trump is creating Rocket City as we move along to Atlas is alive. So right here, the movie Stargate, once again, the U.S. government in Africa, in Comet, Comet, finding technology to travel throughout the galaxy. And we have a new guest, Brother Khalil Analyzer. What's good with you, brother? Peace, God. How you doing?
Jason, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Peace,
Yo,
God.
peace to the gods.
Peace.
So,
to the
so
God.
so have you tuned into the topic yet, or do I need to catch you up real quick?
You know, you can catch me up, bro. Like I chime in, you know what I'm saying?
I hear you, brother. Lana, you want to catch him up?
Yes. Peace to you. So we're talking about Three Eye Atlas. That's the main topic. And you know, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but there was like this rocket launch in the sky. So
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? A few of us saw it.
Yeah. So, you know, we're just tripping off of how there's this this is the 51st launch they've done this year, trying to figure out what's going on with that. And then, of course, the AI Atlas, you know, we're trying to figure out, we're talking about that right now. So what's your thoughts on this Three Eye Atlas in the solar system?
Yo, Three Eye Atlas. Yo, at last. You know what I'm saying? That's what my thoughts are. At last. Because they always hitting us with subliminals. You know what I'm saying? Yo, ain't no way to cover up these motherships. The grand mothership, you know what I'm saying? In the atmosphere. You know, these things are cloaked. You know what I'm saying? They're beyond human comprehension. And one thing I do want to point out is we always see the observations of us finding them. Oh, the scientists found them, the astronomers, they found them. Don't you realize that they saw us first? You know what I'm saying? They saw you. You know what I mean? Three Eye Atlas, man. Everything AI and everything is coming up, you know, it's coming up to something like very huge, you know, but it's happening, you know, it's another aspect of it that's happening in consciousness. And I think we're reaching like a harmonic convergence or a critical mass to where a lot of people, you know, are reaching a certain altitude in consciousness, and they're actually like bringing this event on. And these are really like the souls of the ancestors, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's actually like inhabiting like the human form. I had a powerful experience, and I have multiple, but just yesterday I was able to see myself and another queen I know in New York right now, who's also raising the vibration in crystal form. And this is tripping out because I got glimpses of the diamond body before, you know, and we did many studies where they speak about the diamond form, but I seen myself as well as other brethren in diamond form. So I feel that when this atlas, or when this you know, this energy, the closer it gets, you know, to this planet, the higher our psychic abilities become, the more we're able to project, you know what I'm saying? The more that which lies dormant is coming to the forefront. You see what I'm saying? Because they can't cover this up much longer. You know, our abilities, they try to suppress all our natural skills, our natural abilities, and we kept progressing through bloodlines, through death, through transatlantic slave trade. You know what I'm saying? The melanin, we kept existing, and our frequency kept like elevating, you know what I'm saying? Throughout everything that we have been through. So it's an exciting event, and there's little signs, but I think those that are like tapped in, or what this generation would say woke, those that are like woke are able to, like, you know, more is being revealed. You know what I'm saying? You see those things in your peripheral. You're seeing I catch things out in the sky. I randomly like film parts of the sky, and I literally catch these drones. You know, these are actually drones coming off the mothership, and they move so fast, you're never going to catch them with your physical eye. Yeah. Yes. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You will never catch them. And the bigger question is, what are they doing? And one of the homies was telling me, like, yo, they're assessing the vibration and the energy of those that are raising their frequency. You see what I'm saying? And that's heavy.
And you were talking about seeing your light body. I want everybody watching the show to type in on YouTube Alan Strange, especially my melanated brothers. This was my favorite show when it was on. I would relate to it. It was about a light being, an extraterrestrial being left on Earth. And he took the form of a Moor. And at the end of the whole series in the movie, he had his head wrapped in his turban, and he went into the pyramid in a rock mecha structure, and there was a spacecraft in there. And so at the end, once again, it was showing us that we're here for a purpose and that our ancestors will come back to pick up some of us up. Some of us were trapped here at the last cataclysm because some of our ancestors left. I played a video earlier where it was showing how some of us stayed for the fight when the invasion took place and let some of our wives leave. So right here, Alan Strange, if you look to the right, you'll see his European male friend tugging on him, and he's the alien side, right? And then his female European homegirl is tugging him, and he's coming more to his mortal side. And that's really what's happening right now to us as aliens. You're being either pulled to your spiritual, immortal side as a god, as a Ra, or you're being pulled into the material realm, which is your so-called human avatar, your Yahweh, your Hawa, your body, which is hell. You know, in certain aspects, you being trapped in this body, for some of us, it can be hell when you start obtaining a certain amount of information, and that's when you know it's time for you to go. It's almost as if a lot of us have a departure, not at death, like the Heaven's Gate cult type bull crap that the Europeans do. I'm talking about when you have a booked flight for Delta Airlines headed for Atlanta, Africa, and you have the tickets. What if all of us are preparing for some type of real ascension, and it's in our DNA, and we're feeling some type of ready for departure, whether it's a mother plane to take us somewhere, whether it's a consciousness. Either way, we are thinking higher than our parents, our grandparents could have been able to speak out loud. So of course we're manifesting this. This is why it was illegal for the Negro to read, because a lot of us are able to read or go on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and see motion pictures. So we're able to vision ourselves again as extraterrestrials. They had all the motion pictures of them being aliens and stuff. They had to make that up. But we can go to Egypt, we can go to Mexico, we can go all around Terra, planet Earth, and we can find ourselves in statues and structures. So to the left, we see a pyramid. That's a fact right there. You can go today and see a pyramid that next to it, you'll see an edifice or a statue of a brother or sister with his nose knocked off. And they knock their nose off because one day they think that they plan a dimension in a future to where they are the aliens and they're the original Egyptians, and that they're the aliens, and that they're the creators of math, science, and civilizations, and that they're the messiahs. That's their goal, is to replace you as God, to replace you as Ra, to replace you as having the ancient technology. So they give you Nikola Tesla. Then they'll give you Albert Einstein. They'll give you all these Thomas Edisons. But in truth, you already invented these things. You are the extraterrestrials. So just like anything else, if they have Delta Airlines and we've been here under Ra, under the sun the whole time, don't you think that we built our own spacecrafts?
For real.
And so to the right, you see Independence Day, which was a movie. My parents went looking for me when this movie came out, meaning I was there from the first showing to the last showing at midnight. I never watched a movie 6 times like that in a row. It spoke to me. I went to watch it in Corona, California. And so this is what they fear, y'all. They don't fear you being a thug gangster. They don't fear you believing in God. They don't fear you believing in Jesus. They fear you becoming God, which is studying your culture, being your culture, and making contact with the mother chip, the mother source, which is the mother ship. And so that's why they say, our Father who art in heaven, our Father who art in Orion's belt. Because your father or the extraterrestrials or Ra, the fleet of your ancestors, returns in a mothership to kick butt. And that's what they fear, is that our ancestors have technology that is superior than them, and all the wicked things that they did to the children of Ra, they have to get punished for. And I'll give the mic to you guys before I pass it on to these pictures when we describe on how we traveled, y'all. So we're not like my father used to teach me. He said, you're onto something, son, but I need you to prove it. I need you to go and prove it. So you're just not talking. So in this presentation, we're going to prove the best we can that our ancestors were interstellar travelers prior to the Europeans or the government today. But I'll give the floor to my brothers and sisters.
Yeah, real talk. That's really heavy, and that is profound, you know. And it's always a situation where, you know, our artifacts are being stolen, and we're always being looked at as being in the last. When we were the great inventors, we were the founders, we were the ones with the brilliant mind and the brilliant thought, you know. Taking it back to thought. But what I'm saying is, like, what's coming up to the forefront is this information and this data that's being awakened by these flares that's coming off of the sun, you know, and that's extracting these memories, and this knowing is being rekindled. Remember that Nicolas Cage knowing, you know, it's being rekindled, and people are having memories and data, you know, of things, you know, from previous life existences, past life, and just knowing things that, you know, like where did this information come from? You know what I'm saying? And usually certain frequencies activate that, you know, stargazing, Tai Chi, meditative practices, mindfulness, you know, and aligning with Medu Nature, aligning with the nature walks, and doing all of this. But it's several like pockets of people that are getting together and that are doing things to raise the vibration. There's ceremonial healers. There's beach ceremonies, you know. We went to cleanses at the beach. There's spiritual baths. I mean, there's a lot, you know, that's being done right now. And I think a lot of this, you know, started increasing since 2012. I think since 2012, that'll be 11 years. That's 11 years, right? From right now, exactly 11 years. A large amount of work. Like, I think it's been a jump. It's been an increase in consciousness. It's been an increase of people searching for how to meditate, how to raise their vibration, interest in crystals, interest in healing. People understanding, you know, the symbolic nature of death. More people trying to get you know, cremated versus like buried in the ground, which is a European practice. And, you know, a lot of people preparing and shifting to get themselves in a higher vibration. Because I've seen it. I've walked in there. My sister is a priestess. My mom's a healer. Auntie's a healer, and I've been a part of these amazing ceremonies, and I've seen people like, you know, transformations, and some of these higher dimensional speaking through, you know, our family and our kin. And you got to have a strong, you know, vibration to hold that frequency. My sister, she channeled some of these powerful beings. And
so right here, when you were talking about channeling, I'm going to ask you, Khalil, what do you feel when you see the box in the phone booth as we go to channeling? Because you guys think about what he just said. It's a perfect segue into the next picture. Channeling. What is a channel? You're surfing an electrical frequency to find a certain channel. It could be ABC, BT, MTV, you know? And that's the same when it comes to the universe. You can channel and hit different, what they will call star systems or entities. Some malevolent, some benevolent, meaning good or bad or indifferent. So what do you feel, Khalil, Lana, or Larry, when you look right here and you see a granite box? Now, what's the point, you guys might want to ask? The granite box is a highly conductive electrical rock, a stone, excuse me. And so when you guys are listening to this, type in granite rock or granite stone and electricity. So imagine us in an advanced temple with a pyramid that's able to encounter these devices, and you can walk inside of this ancient phone booth, just like to the left. You remember Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? What did they travel space and time in? A phone booth. Coincidentally, we used to talk on phone booths, just like they showed you in the movie The Matrix and all these phone booths. And that's why they used to have phone booths, because in ancient times, the phone booths, you either were able to step inside of these booths that are charged up, and I'm sure there's other machines connected, and you were able to channel or make a direct connection to the star system that phone booth was aligned with. So let's say it's aligned with the Orion's belt. So if that phone booth is aligned with Orion's belt, you have a direct connection with the source. And that's just like a teacher today, an online teacher, a virtual reality teacher versus a pastor, pimp, or the television or the radio station feeding you crap from someone who's signed to a satanic organization. This is what the church and the government doesn't want you to know, that us as Cometians and the ancient ones in our past lives built phone booths and edifices that we could go into and make direct contact, just like the internet, and get information from the higher source and bring it down to what they call Earth. And that's how we were able to distribute our education system and curriculum across the planet. And this is why you see similar sacred geometry and similar advanced structures all throughout the planet, because we are time travelers. And this is why we have to break the spell of being black. We are aliens. We are extraterrestrial beings. It is time to phone home. E.T. phone home. You guys get it?
Yeah, definitely. Can you hear me?
You're echoing.
Yeah, and then actually what they also don't want you to know is the actual frequencies to use these phone booths, to use the lines, because there's several frequencies that can elevate your vibration. You got 432 hertz. You got 741 hertz frequencies. These frequencies alter human consciousness. You got the solfeggio frequency. You got multiple frequencies that were combined in open portals, and this was immediately taken off the internet. Someone figured out two frequencies, and I can't think of them right now, but when they combine them, it opened an actual portal. So the frequencies are, they're very powerful, and it was actually like, that's how they were able to take over music, because they were utilizing these frequencies. And there was a frequency to dumb down consciousness, and I think the 432, they took out the frequency of love. So they can control people by utilizing these.
Exactly, like low frequency music. Like we're in a constant state where we need to feed our mind into the low frequency. If there's something going bad at work, it's always low frequency. If there's something that we see on TV, like another person getting shot, and they rap about it, that's low frequency. And something, but yeah, like they tend to take out certain music that have a higher frequency. Like most R&B songs back then never actually had that same frequency as they are now, because they also have low frequencies. There was something else, but yeah,
you were
like
talking about earlier how you were playing a video game and they were able to use certain structures to teleport across the planet. Can you maybe break that down for the audience? Because remember, what the video games are a multi-billion-dollar industry, just like the movies. So remember, they're showing you the truth in the video games like they used to, and the cartoons like the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, Barbarian, Tartarian, and they were all advanced. So go ahead. What was this game you were talking about?
Oh yeah. So this is this game called Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is a game where you play in a post-apocalyptic world.
Oh wow.
See, you were played as a parent of a child, and you were set 200 years into the future via cryogenetics. And when you get out and you find out the world is so different, you search for your own son, and through many aspects, you see that time has changed, people are different, and you're like a fish out of water. But the second you go to a certain town, people will talk about disappearances, and the disappearances linked to a certain place called the Institute. And the Institute is a faction in the game where one, there's a group of underground scientists, and what they do, they kidnap people from the surface via molecular relay, which basically is like Star Trek or any kind of quantum leap. You okay. So what it does is when you do a quantum relay, it reshapes your molecules, and it deteriorates your molecules and rematerializes them to a surface. So when that's happening, they go to a certain individual, may it be male, female, or child. They take the person into the lab, they kill them, snuff them out, and replace them with machines called synthetics, or synths for short, by reforging them. And they have a model called Mankind Redefined.
And so you said, so basically they have teleportation, and they're kidnapping people and cloning them and using their genetics.
Yeah,
That sounds like the celebrities, y'all. I want everyone look at Jeff Bezos' wife, look at the Kanyes, look at the Venus Williams, look at all some of your favorite celebrities, the Lil Waynes, the Rick Rosses. Look how some of your favorite celebrities will all of a sudden change or weight loss or this. They've been either taken out and replaced. Cloning is real, just like we watched the video earlier of the orphan trains when we wonder how they repopulated this country. You know, but when we talk about teleportation, y'all, and Khalil speaking of frequencies, when we look at this to the right, doesn't that look like an Egyptian column? So when you see those megalithic Egyptian columns, those are sound columns. So when those are struck with the rubies and copper, and then the machines activated, imagine we're only seeing the reminiscence of our edifices destroyed, that they're still showing you if you hit them, it'll gone. So imagine 100 pillars hit and vibrating at a certain tone, those would open up a portal. And so right here, this is where you see Beam Me Up Scotty. Where do you think that they get these ideas from? They just got out the caves. They came to our ancient civilizations and refurbished our technology, murdered our ancestors, burnt the books, and created these certain Hollywood cinemas so they could reintroduce a new reality to us, just like they taught us with the Indians, and everywhere that they went, they had to murder us, and the survivors and the kids, they would force us to be Christians and colonize, believe in the Bible, believe in their education system, which basically created a false reality upon your mind, which is a curse. It's a curse over your mind. It's a false reality, and we're breaking that. So once we understand that in Star Trek, that they got that from us because we are the Star Walkers, let's look at it now. Let's look at this. It's called Doctor Who. And once again, we see that too. Doesn't it look like the Djed pillar right there? Look to the bottom left, y'all. And while y'all look at that, I'm gonna search for the edifice or the hieroglyph right here that you see. This is called the Osiris pillar or the Djed pillar, which to me is an electrical device. So our ancestors spoke in code. So when you go out and look at your electrical poles, go look at these right here. This is the same electrical devices you find on your poles that electrify your cities. The same exact design.
Hey, King. Hey, real quick, I didn't want to cut you off real quick, but I just wanted to tie something together real quick.
Go ahead.
When he was talking about Fallout, because I played Fallout, all of them, for many years, and I wanted to like show how it starts. You're in a bomb shelter, you know, you're in a vault, like Vault 76 or whatever vault.
Vault
you know,
111. Yep.
Vault 111 too. But it all starts, and even going back to the telephone booth. We live in booths, you know, we live in these squares. Everybody is in their room. They took you out of nature. They put you in a room. They put you in a square. When he came outside of the vault, then he saw reality for what it really was. I've already projected out, and I've seen this. What you're looking at is a controlled hologram. That device that you just showed from the Egyptians, these towers, they're projecting holograms. You know, the reality is not how it's seen with our physical eyes, because people don't come outside of the vault. You are trapped in a vault. You know, they put rubber on the bottom of your shoes. You know what I'm saying? There's no attachment to Mother Earth. You see what I'm saying? It's concrete out there. You know, we're not in real nature. You know, majority is in city. So it is extremely difficult to get out of the simulation. But when I projected out of the simulation, there were thousands of modules where people were dreaming. They were integrated in these simulations. But it took so much energy to project out of it. And when you projected out of it, they were trying to get to get me back in, but there's no sky. This is a purgatory environment. Everything about it is purgatory. It is horrid. It's horrendous. It is terrifying. You know, but we have to raise our vibration. And these technology and these tools, you know, those trees that look like trees, but they're really satellites.
Yep.
You know, they're spread out. You know, and the way that they have these grids, it is so, you know, it's so like genius how they have the city surrounded. I know a queen that was driving from Los Angeles into another part of the city and hit this field. And it's a certain line where you drive and your whole body will feel different. Like you feel fine at first, and then you start getting nauseated and sick because you're going through these fields. You know, real force fields. You know, and now you wonder why they're killing, murders, suicides. You know, why the vibration is so low. Prostitutes, drug dealers, because they're in these fields, and you can measure these fields using the radiation devices. You can go hold it up outside of on the corner. You know, by the cell phone shops, and the level of radiation that you get is harmful to the human body. It's harmful to babies. It's harmful to children. You see what I'm saying? And we're being bombarded by it. You see what I'm saying? So 3-Eye Atlas is a must. You know what I mean? It's a must we get out of this poison system. It's a must we raise our frequency and our vibration and understand what the hieroglyphics are saying. You see that light beam right there? That's what we are, right there. That is what we are, and they are using our images of our higher selves. You see what I'm saying? Deceiving people with images of us. This is us. This is our vibration. You know what I'm saying? We have already arisen. We've been here before. You see what I'm saying? It's just like I said. It's Star Trek, and we gotta beam up to the next frequency. And that Tesla. You see that Nikola Tesla right there? What you got on there? That's powerful right there. You know, that's right there. There it is. It is right over there in the next block. I see the same thing on the next block.
And this is what powered the devices. So people want to know, well, Jason, where's the proof? Where's the proof of the devices? We're showing you right here that our ancestors had electrical devices, and it's not it's we have. It's someone else has just simply confiscated them. But the codes and the instructions are still in us. Help is on the way. So right here, look at this, brother. And you can one of these pictures, you can go on my YouTube, y'all, and you can see me time traveling and meditating with brothers behind me with Uzis and machine guns. Literally, this is 2009. So right here, you see the brother, and once again, what do you see knocked off? What do you clearly see knocked off?
Them noses in the face.
Why is that, y'all? Why is it that they clearly deface the face? It's because that they know that the moment that you see your face or another group of people see your face, they're going to know, they're going to question reality. They're going to say, wait a second, I thought that these people were from Africa or slaves, that they were swinging from trees, they had no knowledge. And so this is how you break the curse that they put over you. So right here, when you understand that this is a brother and sister holding an electrical power device, clearly, you see? And then like Brother Khalil was saying, the hieroglyphs, the hieroglyphs, those are lyrics, meaning instructions. These are instructions that they don't want us to learn. That's why they force these languages on us. Remember, we didn't always speak this tongue. So right here, when we talk about devices, we were here, speaking on Bill and Ted's and in the phone booth. So right here, as we end this picture, we're able to quantum leap. You see the numbers behind them. So our ancestors, just like the Moors, were able to travel the 7 seas with a compass, mapping the stars. Imagine their forefathers. Imagine the forefathers of our forefathers. Because what they want us to do is they want us to think that their future is the best, that their future is advanced. So they don't want us to travel back in our minds to the past. Our travel pass through these artifacts, these arts of Ra that are facts. So when you travel back to the future, you're able to travel back to the future to the present, which is a gift, and you're able to use your past culture, which is advanced, to propel yourself into the future, not as a slave, not as a black person, but as an interstellar traveler, not because of them or their system. It's because you've already traveled back to the future. And so when you understand that our civilizations are advanced because we're still under Ra, we're still under the same sun, let's no longer say we are advanced. We still are those people. So as I change the picture, y'all, imagine you sitting down in that booth full of granite, full of electricity, and you're able to phone home. So like they call it astral projecting or telekinetic. So if we're not doing it just physically, let's say the common man, instead of like the pharaohs and the super nobility was able to super time travel, let's say the common man was still able to go in and tap into the etheric internet. So just like we're able to get on YouTube and Google and all these things, we were able to tap into our ancestors, our family and friends who live amongst the stars, who vibrate on another radio station, who were able to get information from to teach us how to farm, to teach us how to build, to teach us how to live Orion, or what they call heaven on earth. But hopefully we're going to see if time is up and some of us can get picked up. Hopefully it docks. Who knows? But either way, we know that there's a consciousness shift occurring as we go to this next picture. So right here, y'all, is one of the shrines that you guys can find in Kemet. This is why it's important to travel to these places. So right here, if you're gonna walk through a wormhole that has radiation and electricity, I'm gonna assume that you probably can't just walk through it just in the flesh. You're gonna have some type of spacesuit. So this is my theory through my research, and then I found some more people who are on it as well, but this is from a brother. And so right here, once again, imagine, so right here, I'm gonna close up the cobras. For me, the cobras and the research, the cobras represent electricity, and that sun disk is like a solar panel. So imagine that being electrified, like Bill and Ted right here. Picture it being electrified. You see on top of Bill and Ted that antenna. So imagine it being electrified just like that. But it's copper.
Hey, brother, I wanna make a quick, just one quick little point. When you mentioning the cobras, I wanna make this kind of like stand out in people's minds, because there's a lot of people that demonize a lot of things that are said when you bring up snakes and you bring up that, oh, that's the occult, oh, that's demonic, you know, oh, that's black, oh, that's negative. And you know, them two twin cobras are also on the sign of the paramedics. So if you ever been in a paramedic, if you are near death and you need to be transported by a paramedic, oh, you're demonic now. Oh, now it's good. It's good now, right? It's really, it's beneficial to you, right? Before, it was demonic, you know, it was evil, you know, but it's a major sign on the paramedics. You see what I'm saying? They hide these things in plain sight. And let me make one more comment about a paramedic in the car. An ambulance can't hold a soul. It holds the body. You know what I'm saying? It cannot hold the weight of 1,000 lifetimes. You see what I'm saying? Any ambulance you've seen has never held a soul. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? You're transporting.
That's what this is doing.
The body.
And that's what we're doing right here.
And
go ahead.
Hermes, from Greek mythology. Hermes leads you to the river Styx when you once die, or will lead you to Mount Olympus once you achieve godhood. You know, Hermes, and he holds the staff of the two snakes.
Toph, Tahuti, the Jed pillar.
Yes, yes.
And so we have to look at this like Jafar. When I was a kid, I was like, okay, Jafar was a sorcerer. I'm going to be a righteous sorcerer when I grow up. And so for me, that was a device. Just like even in their books, they said the Pharaoh turned this rods, the snakes and all that. I was like, oh, these brothers were performing real type of magic because you're in a video game. When you understand that you're things are numerical codes, atoms, photons, you can manipulate matter. That's why it was called alchemist, turning lead to gold. People talk about Jesus and Yeshua turning lead to gold, water to wine. And where did he learn his information for those who
and
follow?
when you say El, that's God. El is God.
Right.
Kemet. God the Kemet. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So you guys remember that the word Egypt is a Greek word. So when we say El or Al-Kemet, A-L, Al-Kemet, K-H-E-M-E-T, that's where they get the word chemistry from. And when we say Medu Nature, that comes from Mother Nature. Medu Nature is Mother Nature. And the word nature, look this up in the dictionary, the word nature derives from the word netter. And netter is what we today call gods and goddesses. So the gods and goddesses, the netters, are the periodic table. So we were able to break down the universe in a simple form, in mathematical form of story. And so right here, when we see the cobra or the serpent, remember the cobra is the only animal, or from my understanding, or reptile that has a pineal gland. And so right here, you see the cobra, which is a symbol for electricity. And like I said, the solar panels, imagine that being electrified. You see the sister on the bottom. Now we have beautiful art. So the European, when he has electrical stuff, it's artsy. Like that's why his buildings today are so bland, because the ancient buildings that you see downtown that look different, he didn't build. We built those. And so just like here, you see us with electrical devices and interstellar travel devices looking like jewelry, looking like monuments, looking like art. So I'm gonna closing it up. So this is gold, copper, rubies that are all electrical conductors. So imagine, like Khalil was saying, you being placed in here and then forming your light body. But in order to travel through the Stargate, they will put you in the sarcophagus. So not just a cryo chamber, but the sarcophagus possibly is what you would go in to protect yourself from the radiation belt and all the stuff by traveling through the wormhole. And you were able to pass through the wormhole, go to the other side. They open the sarcophagus, then open up the shrine chamber, because look, it has a door, just like phone booths used to have, right? So you see the door, and you would put that sarcophagus right there inside of there, and that's all electrical charge to do what? Here we go. It's to charge you, as you see the model. Different granites would probably are tuned to different radio stations. So different granites and different stones are tuned to different channels, meaning you would teleport with your mind or physically, depending on your status in society. So right here you see a black granite or a black type of stone, so that will hold a different frequency. So you would probably talk to different deities or different spacecrafts. So right here in the middle you see the hieroglyph with the cobra, which is electricity, y'all. So that's electricity over him. And then you see a gate. And then you see the boat of Ra, which will show you right here is a Stargate. So right here, the ship of God's appearing like a wormhole. That's because the boat in the ship of Ra is actually symbology of what is within and without and inside of the solar system. So we were able to mimic what our forefathers built. So just like you are a temple in an ark, in a spacecraft, in a Merkaba, in a being of light, you are also able to build spacecraft and ships based off of interstellar travel. So look right here, y'all, at this to the right and to the bottom left. You see a black hole and a white hole, meaning an exit and an entrance and an exit. And this is why we find pyramids aligned with certain star structures all over the planet. And this is why and this is why they don't want us to understand the hieroglyphs, because they're the lyrics, they're the instructions to the star maps, they're the instructions to the Stargate. This is why they distract us with all the education, the religion, the sports, the education, TV, because this is what we're supposed to be focused on every day. This is our culture. When we practice our culture and perform our culture, we make direct contact with our higher selves. And so right here, we have proof of interstellar travel left right here. And all we have to do is want to make contact and know that it's true. This is what they're hiding from us right here. So what do you guys feel right here when you see that the ship of Ra, we see that we've proven electrical devices. We see once again the Djed pillar, the brother holding the Ankh. We see him once again holding a staff of Ra, which for me could be a particle accelerator, and he's next to an electrical device. So we're talking about interstellar travel here, y'all. So what do you guys feel when I speak of Ra and the sun boat, not just being just a river boat, but an actual device for interstellar travel, and that our ancestors built mothercrafts and spaceships?
I think it's extraordinary, and you know, like, I don't want to bring people too far down, but you know, I know it's a degree of fear, and that fear it has to be erased. You know what I'm saying? I've been on them ships. I've been on that craft, and the sun boat, the boat that you're talking about, is so extraordinary, because when some elder souls and I rode on it, I had the chance to travel to any part in human history. And when I rode on the boat, we rode through ancient Comet, and no one was aware of us. We're floating on this device that's beyond physical human comprehension, and we're seeing these people and their rituals and their habits and these huge pyramids, and it was so phenomenal. And then the boat goes down, and then it goes underground. It dives underground, and then we see all of these ceremonies that are taking place underground, and it's mind-blowing. But what I'm explaining is higher methods of astro projection, levels that you get on to where you can actually you project into the afterlife, and then you are able to to witness these events that happen in anywhere in human history and on different planets, because there are thousands of parallel universes.
What do you feel about Doctor Who? Have you guys watched the show Doctor Who?
Yeah, that new one. I've seen that. That's pretty cool.
So once again, what do you guys see him traveling in? A phone booth, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Phone booth. And then this is his laboratory. So right here, you see it. You see them with the phone booth, and you see the same type of technology to the right that the brother was holding inside of Egypt. Right there, y'all.
Wow.
And look, if you can look closely to the left, it'll show, it says spinning and flying, spin and fly TARDIS or Taurus field. So right there, so imagine that spinning and that going either to the sky. You remember Willy Wonka? You remember when he broke out of that? So right there, what if Willy Wonka was showing you that we had different types of flying? Maybe there were degrees of the different crafts. You know, just like they have jet airliners, UFOs, different.
Look like a genie lamp, huh?
Also, and if you look to the far right corner, y'all, it has bumps coming out like sticks, and then like you said, that big bong and genie lamp. That all looks like the devices that we were looking at when we were looking at in Comet just a few seconds ago, right here. Look at the brother. Use your guys' imagination on what they're showing you. So this is how we were able to do it. We were able to do different levels of teleportation. One of our atoms, photons, neurons, and electrons, and then what they call channeling. And just like they show you in Quantum Leap. So if our ancestors were able to map the grid lines and stars, that means that like in Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny, they were time traveling but landing in the wrong era. But our ancestors, since they built the matrix, they knew every matrix and ley line, so they could jump from time zone to time zone. This is why we have something what we call, if we have a picture of crop circles today. The crop circles are proof that we are interstellar time travels, and these are some sort of timestamp for me.
Hey,
what do you
brother, can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I just want the people to pick up on one thing. When the King Elm Street is speaking, it goes back to frequency, because there's so much power in the way that the brother is speaking, because he's speaking as a whole affirmation. When you hear him talk, I am, we will, we are, you are. And so what happens is that it's the ancestor speaking right now. In the actual now, you are in communication with the ancestor, because when I hear him, I hear the ancestor speaking. I don't hear a human voice. You know, I'm like, whoa, this is instructions directly from AI Atlas right now, you know, because someone who's speaking with a direct connection to the center of the universe can elevate one's frequency to another, to the next level. And that's what happens when 3 or more are gathered. How many is in this? You see what I'm saying?
Oh.
There in the presence, the power lies. We are the ancestors. We have returned. We are the Netzeru. We are the masters. You see what I'm saying? Like today, ascension happens today. It happens right now. It ain't no tomorrow. I was already killed in a car crash April 17, 2014, but we're here having a conversation because I already ascended purgatory, you know? So if we are in communication, you are in the presence of the Netzeru. You are speaking to Ra now. I am an ascended master. I do walk out of the body. I do travel. I do have random people coming up to me, praying, you know, don't even know why. Oh, sir, you know, I mean, there's something about you. I saw your aura before you even appeared. You see what I'm saying? I don't even know where these lyrics come from. I got 13 albums. I don't know how they were created. The Netzeru did all this information, all this process, all the ceremonies, all the healings for 20 plus years. You see what I'm saying? So, like, yo, when Elm Street come on, who has actually touched the pyramids, just like a Billy Carson, you know what I'm saying? David Wilcox, Graham Hancock, all of these guys that came, you know what I'm saying, taking our story.
Got you, son. Yo, what's up? It's Jason, the God MC, better known as Elm Street. We out here in Africa, plain old Egypt, about to open the Stargates. You already know everything is atoms, photons, neurons, electrons.
Elevating into our diamond bodies. We are light. We are leaving our bodies. We are masters. You know what I'm saying? We knew each other before this reality. This is not the first time. You know what I mean? And we are going to ascend. We're going to get back to our crystal status. You know what I'm saying?
Brother, you remember
walking with this higher vibration, brother.
Brother, you remember when you came to hear me speak downtown a few years ago in Riverside at the Civil Rights Institute? And I was like, man, is this brother tripping? You were like, Jason, I took a picture when you were speaking. I was like, okay. He's like, I'm gonna send you a video. And he said, man, when you started speaking, a shadow appeared. And I was like, uh-oh. And he was like, nah, brother, when you started speaking, a giant was above you, bro. And when I was in Atlanta and speaking, this elder, he was security. He was like, man, can I holler at you, youngster? I was like, yeah. He said, man, that mark on your forehead is an Ifa sign and all this stuff. He said, it's a sign from the ancestors and all. I was like, okay. But he was like, when you were talking, there were these two giants, like huge behind you. So when this brother Khalil said this, I was intrigued. So I went and looked back in the video, and bro, when I say he was telling me the truth, I started talking, and this shadow figure, like the lights didn't move, a shadow figure, and you could see the face. He told me it was a tiki face. You remember that, Khalil?
Yeah.
So
wow, yeah, you get chills, brother. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I say, these beings manifest. You know.
Yeah, how did you see that? Yeah, tell people. How did you see that? Because that almost spooked me out when you said it. I was like, huh?
It's just going into a transcendental state. That's why I say when you're instructing or when you're actually you're projecting out. It's other energy that you know that takes over, you know, like in the middle of the message, and you see the aura first, you know what I'm saying? And it's extraordinary, you know what I mean? And you know there are some mediums, there's psychics, you know, and they got the ability to actually like see them. I seen a 9 foot a higher dimensional, you know, that was in my space, but you can't hold on to fear, you know, false evidence appearing real. You can't hold on to it because, you know, they won't come, you know, assist, you know what I mean? And that happened a lot, you know, in these dream states and travels. You'll get the invitation, you know, to get your vibration raised. I was in a situation where one of these goddesses told me to lay flat and stay calm, and I stayed calm, and I knew I was somewhere higher, and she said stay calm, and this wind came from her, and the wind, I was wondering, it just kept going, and it was like clearing my whole, like my energy field. And I just said, how can anyone have a breath that just like, that does not stop? And then, you know, I'm in the center of the universe and I can't move. You know, I'm having that feeling where, you know, where you can't move at all. And you're trying to move and you're completely still. And then this other being, I asked who it was. She said it was Michael. You know, this angel was walking towards me, and I tried my best to hold the vibration, to actually see this being, but it was so powerful. It overrode, the human strip. But paralyzation, it happens, and that happens right before you project out the body. You get paralysis, and you're not able to move at all. But that's where you have to like let the fear go, and then you ascend out of the sarcophagus. You know what I'm saying?
And now Now this is why you learn why they have us under a sleep spell. They have us under these fake 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 12 a.m., 2 p.m., fake calendar, fake time to throw off our natural circadian rhythm as sun people and solar people to the sun. We operate different. That's why they call it colored people's time, because we are not artificial beings. We're not supposed to be working for them. We're not supposed to be on their time. So what it does, it throws off our seconds, our minutes. And so that's also what they call the illusion, the dream world. What is the difference between this world and the dream world? Where is the school or the education system for that? That's why it's time for us to separate, not off of racism, but based off of proof that our culture and our education system prior to the colonization of our minds and the lands of our people is different. And we see a success. Now we have proof that if we continue to practice and continue to follow this path, you will be led by a shepherd as a sheep to the slaughterhouse. And so when people such as July, August, September, October, November, Jason comes and starts telling you these things, what it is, it's designed for when the Messiahs come, for you not to accept or receive the message. That's why many shall be left behind, is because you were taught to hate the Messiah. You were taught to hate Ra. You were taught, that's why they knocked off Amen Ra and gave you Amen. That's why they gave you a pale-skinned European as a Messiah instead of a brother who looked like Khalil, or a sister that looks like Lana, or someone that looks like I. It's because when you can identify with a statue and a culture and an education system and travel there and apply it and then go back to your land and teach your people, that is what you call Ra. That is today what you call God. There's no need to go to work and do all the things that you're doing, because it's no point. And that's the goal of the system. The goal of the system is for you to truly be miseducated so you think you die. And if you so-called die without enough information, you cannot graduate. And so most people aren't graduating to the heavenly abodes because, like I say, they know more about the Raider game. They know more about certain books than the higher education system that is left here. So when Khalil talks about astral projection, we had basically cities set up and machines set up to where you could astral travel. So imagine like going to Castle Park, Disneyland, but instead of going on a roller coaster, you could lay flat on a slab of granite or different types of stones in a machine, and you could get shot out to different star systems mentally and experience time just like a dream and come back and remember it just like a mushroom trip. You feel me? And so this is once again MU. And so once again, the magic mushroom is considered a culture. And when you eat the magic mushroom, what decalcifies your pineal gland, and it starts flickering like a cobra, just like the machine.
Brother, your mic went off. I can't hear.
Can you hear me now? Oh, wow.
I can hear you just fine.
You can hear me just fine?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. What's her name left? Can you hear me now though, Khalil?
He said he'll be right back.
Okay. Can you hear me, Brother Larry?
Yeah. What happened? I accidentally exited out, but I'm back.
Okay, so basically, right here, let's get to it. The Khufu ship of ancient Egyptian marvel. I saw this ship in person when I went to Kemet, y'all. And so once again, it's proof. And there's like almost 100 of these ships that they found in front of the Great Pyramid. So once again, it's proof that we were able to travel the 7 seas and travel through rivers, which are our ancient highways, but it also was a representation of the ship of Ra. And to the right, the Wadajet. So for me, it says the wand of the Jedi. And so just like in Star Wars, the wand of the Jedi is a lightsaber. It can be considered a weapon. So to the right, you see, to me, it's not a cobra, it's a device. So when we see this, it's an actual device and an electrical device. So go watch the movie Aladdin and Jafar. These are devices because our ancestors are artists. They're not just plain cave people who do not receive information from the sun. The reason they call us sun people and soul people is because we receive music notes and instruction from the sun. No one else on the planet are called soul people. So if we're the only people who create soul music, that means we are the only people of Ra. We are the only children of Ra. And everyone else are humans who are our descendants. And those who love us when we're practicing and performing our culture at our highest will either hate us and attempt to kill us, or they will love us and be students. And so every so-called race has a minority who loves us. Example, before I pass the Cobra, the Jed, so-called white people. The majority of so-called white folks, we would say, are racist. But there are a small minority of those who are not racist and utilize our ancient teachings, whatever it's healing, crystals, spirituality, to better themselves. And if they give us credit, we accept them into our kingdom. We accept them or teach them. And throughout history, when so-called Europeans escaped their so-called nation and practiced what today they call Islam, or what you call the Shriners, or what you call pirates, we accepted them. And those are the Europeans that eventually mixed in with us, who became pirates, or your so-called Arabs. And same thing with the Latin community. The majority of Latin America is racist, and a small minority of our Mexican brothers and Latin sisters are not. And same thing reversed with us. The majority of our people are loving people, peaceful Indians. That's why they were able to get us. Even though we are warriors, we're a peaceful people living in paradise. And imagine someone coming and fighting you when you've been chilling, being innovative. Because in order to innovate like we did, you cannot be at war. And so we are dealing with a people who are at war, who lack they lack a certain amount of melanin and neuromelanin in their brain to function at the level that we do. And so naturally our spacesuit vibrates on a certain frequency that allows us to perform at higher levels. And that's why the other races are jealous, because they weren't taught properly. So what's going to happen, y'all, is if you do not listen, they have these planned events, and if you stay in these cities and we don't get picked up, they're gonna kill you. The Mexicans are gonna kill you, because your Mexican and white friends who are not racist aren't gonna be able to protect you when a mob of racist Mexicans come and try to fucking kill you. Your white fucking, excuse my language, your white friends who are not racist are not going to be able to stop 100 KKK members and 100 cops coming to kill you when there's no law. They're coming to kill you. And the proof is that they labeled you black, because if you understood that you're the Indian, you would study those Indian wars again, and you would understand that recently when they came here through Ellis Island, they were hired as hitmen and militias. Not just police, but the cavalry, the Christians. They were assigned gangs to murder you. And so they stole your land, they stole your maps, they had expositions, world fairs, burnt down all your edifices. The war hasn't stopped. There's just a few of them who seem friendly, but in all actuality, they're still murdering us. And so if you don't understand that when they create the next big event, they just murdered the Charlie dude, how did it become a racial thing? How did it become a racial thing when that had nothing to do with so-called black people? It's because they're preparing to kill you. They're preparing to kill you because they know who you are. That's why when you go on Facebook and you go on Instagram or TikTok and you tell people that you're an Indian, you tell people how great you are, they start saying racist stuff. They'll listen to your music about you killing yourself, being a murderer. They'll watch your movies as Tyler Perry is you dressing up. But the moment you claim your history again and stand up with a spine and stop acting like a nigger, then it's a problem. And that's when you know it's correct. That's when you know it's correct, because you are Ra. You are science. You are the sun. You are math. You are infinity. Those are things that you can take with you in the afterlife, because you never die. So if they can convince you that this is your only life and that this is the only world that you go to, then you're going to make some mistakes that you shouldn't. That's going to trap you here, or you're going to have to reincarnate here. And if you reincarnate as a kid again in this world 20 years, 30, 40 years from now, you possibly going to be in an effed up society. And that's why it's up to us right now to make a difference, because some people are not going to graduate and they're going to have to start all over as a kid. That's why you treat the world and treat the youth as you, because you are the kids. You are like Michael, like Mike L, the angel Michael, who came in the form of Michael Jackson. Michael Joseph Jackson, Joseph in the Technicolor jacket in Egypt. The Technicolor technology, because there's technology in Egypt. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. So what if I told you Stargates are real? Remember the time, like Michael L, Michael Jackson, the Jedi, because the Jedi is the lightsaber, and the Jedi is Tahuti, the DJ. So right now we are graduating for those who are going to be part of the Jedis or the dark side. That's really what we're dealing with. We're dealing with those who have the darkness but can hold the light. You feel me? And so right here, y'all, this is what they went to war in Iraq when they talked about weapons of mass destruction. So when they're opening up the sarcophaguses, example, y'all, I was watching the History Channel not too long ago, and they were opening up the sarcophaguses and chopping up, they were chopping off the neck, and they were taking out the thorax of hundreds of pharaohs and high priests. And I was like, man, these grave robbers, these raiders, what are they doing? And so what they were doing, they were sticking the thorax in a computer, and they were putting hieroglyphs using AI, and they were trying to mimic the voice pattern and voice tone of that pharaoh. And I said, why are they doing that? It's because our stargates and our monuments and our devices are fingerprint and voice activated, y'all. This is why they don't want you to go to these monuments. This is why they don't want you to travel. This is why they want you to stay inside of these cities. So since our people haven't had the opportunity, like people such as myself, to travel, this is why you have to listen to Brother Khalil when he's talking about going within, understanding that you are the spaceship, that the temple of Set is here, and the temple of Osiris is here, and you in the middle. And you have to balance the wings of Maya, flying all the wings of Ra. So what do you guys feel with there being stargates or portals to different dimensions, and not just the 3-eye atlas of a physical ship, but also gates and advanced technology where people can come through different wormholes? What do you feel about that?
It's a beautiful thing. The beautiful thing. I think one of you mentioned earlier, this is a reflection of what's going on within. So what we're seeing and what we're experiencing outwardly with our eyes right now is what's going on within us. So we're going to be able to really experience, like you said. I remember as a kid, I remember dreaming and visiting people, and the next day getting a phone call. So that same energy is going to be intensified, where we're going to be able to travel without having to use a car, or you know what I'm saying, we're going to be able to, like someone said earlier, the psychic abilities are intense right now. So it's exciting. Like this, like in the midst of the chaos, we should be rejoicing. Like you were saying, fear, you can't take fear where we're going. It can't live there. Fear is a spirit, and fear should never, ever, ever be something we entertain, because we can't excel when we're fearful. But then that's also a sign that we have to put in more work. We have to get rid of energy that's not balanced. Like someone was saying, we're in a room, a square room that's trapped. Well, we're in these rooms because the energy gets trapped in here. So now we're all coming outside of the box, thinking outside of the box. And that's what all of this 3-eye atlas and all these signs in the sky, that's what this is all symbolic for. So for those of you, what it's saying is the planet is alive and waking up, with or without you. And if you're one that does not believe or does not know this is happening, you're going to miss the boat by choice.
What do you feel, Larry, about Stargate's portals?
Yeah, I feel like when we pass through these stargates, it's either how we could determine how we could travel through them, like how you said, um, through physical and mental means, you could transcend your consciousness to that certain level, even though most people oftentimes not want to don't want to transcend their consciousness because they're stuck to where they are in the physical realm. But when you pass through that by traveling or by any other means, you tend to actually transcend your consciousness to that certain plane through higher vibrations and higher frequencies.
I
And it
agree.
makes you feel whole.
Do you feel that the government does not want the people to discover this talent that's within? And do you feel that we're living in an age of discovery to where this is going to be cool? But what do you feel we're in right now compared to our parents? Because there's a lot of people who are going through it to where their parents don't relate to them, their brothers and sisters, their family, and they're ostracized. What advice would you feel to people watching this when it comes to portals and stars? Because people might say, Jason, Stargates, what is that? And we're showing them that the pyramids are stargates, whether different portals, when they look at columns. Everyone watching this, go look at certain buildings and columns and think of those vibrating back in the day. Look at mirrors, but I'll be quiet. But what do you feel when it comes to portals and stars?
It's only one step at a time, because we know, like what you said, like most parents oftentimes don't understand how how most parents don't tend to understand how we're going through a certain phase. It's also a mental state of our development. And the more we develop, the more likely we could transcend that consciousness. And we could teach them how to do the same thing, even though they might see it as some strange new concept. But when you teach them slowly but efficiently, they could still learn about it, and they'll even accept for who you who they want you to actually be seen as. And as by means through government, yeah, they'll still try and keep us at a certain level, like to an extent where they want us to keep eating things that will never ascend our consciousness. They'll always keep us through means to keep our vibrations low, or they'll always bring other means to keep us distracted, even though we're always constantly building, but they keep destroying it every step of the way. It's like a Jacob's ladder.
Khalil said they can kill the body, but Ra cannot be destroyed. What do you feel when you see? What do you feel, Khalil, when you see this picture right here of those who don't look like us? Much love, but to where they're fascinated in telling people that the Karnak temple is a Stargate temple, yet our people, for the majority, aren't even focused on this. What do you feel about the Stargates in Egypt through your studies?
I felt like when you look at the display in the picture of the Stargate or the wormhole, I see like an air, and I see the air canal coming out to the other side. And then when you look in the middle, you got ether, you got blackness, you got darkness. You know what I'm saying? And dark matter. There you go. So they're showing you subliminally that the power is in the dark matter. And even on the recent Superman that was just released, they had Stargate technology. And when they went through the portal, they ended up in this other dimensional space, in this void, in this dark matter, where all these cells, there were superheroes, and they were all trapped in all of these thousands of cells trapped. And what it was saying is that you have so much knowledge and so much dormant information and untapped potential that is trapped, you know what I'm saying? And that has to be accessed through frequencies, through elevation, through ascension, you know, through higher programming, through higher overstanding, you know what I'm saying? That Neteru frequency, it's there, you know what I'm saying? It's a Stargate, because like the brother Elm Street said, we're going to be traveling through consciousness. We're going to be projecting. We're not going to need airplanes. We're not, you know, Elon Musk trying to fly everyone to Mars, mission to Mars. You know what I'm saying? We already have these abilities to travel because we have technology within our DNA, and that's the technology that they're trying to prevent awakening, because they know that one spark of the divine Ra can decimate a city.
And here we go, like Khalil said, right here, you see Ra is played by a brother in Stargate SG-1 series as well. Because you are Ra, and he has technology, and coincidentally, the brother's last name is Williams, who played Ra. Because Williams dates forward and back to the dynasties of ancient Comet and Washita. So right here, Amun-Ra, and Ra is asking the Stargate SG-1 team, which is the military, which they're showing you in the show, that the military's been time traveling and been traveling the stars, going to war people. And he said, where did you get those from? Where did you get that technology from? Because what it is that they've been trading with other extraterrestrial beings as well to clearly go to war with Ra. And that's the whole point, is the hidden. So they'll put Jesus in front of Ra. They'll put Amen instead of Amun-Ra, because Amen is a title. And so when you see Amun-Ra, you see that there's different pharaohs named Amen. Amenhotep, Amen Moses, Amenhotep III, Amenhotep II. And this is science. Just like there's a Pharaoh Dozier, or a Ptah, or Pharaoh Ramsey, Ra, Ram. So each pharaoh was a master at a certain science, at a different reign. Example, when Brother Khalil has his land, he will rule as a chief, as a pharaoh of his land. And as a respected scientist of his degree, he will have different teachings than I. But both of us still say we're gods, we're pharaohs, but we'll have different teachings, just like Brother Larry Daniels will have different teachings. Sister Lannis, she will have different teachings. Each of us have different teachings because we were born underneath different star systems, different ley lines, different experiences. The sun hit us differently, you know? So right here, this is really what they fear. They fear the return of Ra in the space fleet and the flesh. They fear you making contact with Ra. They fear you making contact with the motherboard. The mothership is the source. That's the whole point, that you can make direct contact. You don't need their church. You don't need their religion. You don't need their Bible. You don't need them anymore. This is the whole point why Khalil was teaching you us three, us four. This is why they used to break up ciphers when we used to rap in junior high and high school. Because they know once we get that energy together and it's of love and it's of high frequency, we start sharing that information and you go back and spread it, they can't stop it. So this is what they fear. The Stargate, the Empire, the congressman calmly explains there are entities coming from 5 or 6 deep water areas. So now they're confirming live on TV, different congressmen admitting that they have extraterrestrial beings from underneath the ocean. So now we're talking about aquatic beings. The original person to play Alien was a brother in that spacesuit. So why is it that they're always showing you that the extraterrestrial is always a brother? The predator has dreadlocks. Comets hurtling towards the earth. Them always showing you. They just had a show called Alien Earth on FX. And the extraterrestrials been coming. They've been using the space shuttles like an Elon Musk to send these different extraterrestrial cargo. Some of them got let loose. So now we're talking about the Dendera light bulb. So the Dendera temple is what I showed you guys when we first started the show. Once again, showing you proof, and look on the bottom of that light bulb. You see that circle, you see that pillar that the brother was holding earlier. You remember when I showed you guys that? So these are machines. So remember that we are artists. So just like they do their playing devices, we had art to ours. But I wanted to show you guys this show as we start closing it out soon.
One second, brother.
Let me finish this. So we have a show called Sliders. There was a show called Sliders in the 80s or 90s, and it starred this brother. He was a musician, and Jerry O'Connor and this brother was playing Rembrandt. They would press a button and the wormhole to the right would open. And there's an episode, I'm gonna closing it up. Season 3, episode 14 is called Slide Like an Egyptian. So literally the episode is about them time traveling to Egypt. And in this episode, of course, the brother, I'm sure he's sad because it reminds me of myself, knowing that you're trapped. For one, if you understood that there's different dimensions in different worlds and that you've been lied to and that there's more to reality, you definitely don't want to die not knowing, because you probably have to return. You want to be here long enough to attain a certain amount of information. But watch the show The Sliders. And so it's talking about a team of scientists, but this brother gets sucked into it. But basically in this episode, Slide Like an Egyptian, the nobles and the elite are the time travelers, and the government's been time traveling the whole time. And so it's showing you how the pyramid is a time travel device. And of course, on the bottom, who do you see lying to the people that they're the Egyptians? So right here, they're showing you once again, and they had an episode where Hillary Clinton was president. And so right here, once again, we show the discovery of Tut Ak Amun. And so Tut would be Tahuti. That would mean someone who understood the science of Tahuti or Hermes or Thoth. And then Ankh or An for Anu. So we talk about spaceships. Nibiru, Anu, Anubis. So the titles hold science. So when you see Tu, King Tut or Tut, that's Tahuti. And Tut Ak Amun, Amun or Amen, Amun meaning the hidden one, the hidden spacecraft. So right here, the craft. So the craft of the ancient Egyptians talk about interstellar travel. The gods are the Neteru, which are extraterrestrial beings. And ancient Egypt is founded upon also making contact with extraterrestrials. So example, being an advanced architect and scientist, we would build, like I said, imagine an edifice like this. And imagine it being a radio station, or these being their antennas, and I could press a button, and just like a radio station now, I could turn to Power 106 and listen to gangster rap or jazz or blues or music. Imagine the same type of radio station that they copied, but you press a button and I can get to radio stations and channels from different star systems. And that's the key, is that we built and created, like they have toys, our toys and radio stations connected us to higher realms. And once again, this is how we were able to make direct contact with higher intelligence and create higher maths, higher structures, higher farming techniques, different tones and languages. All these are found in our culture, and this is what they hide from us. So when we discover and understand that ancient Egypt, Atlantis, Mu is not only just in Africa, it's on all land masses and interstellar, this is when life gets more fun. This is when you start seeing what our culture and education system is truly all about. So this is a celebration because it's the end of their world. It's the end of their society. So we have to prepare for departure. So for those who say that the spaceship might not come, I understand. But one thing we must understand and overstand is that when they plan these cities, attack and all these things, you won't want to be in these cities. And this is why the priesthood, before I pass the mic, through ancient times, we might have to perform what we did last time, meaning the last cataclysm, which in modern day would be these events, we would escape to Africa. And so for me, when you study Mesoamerica, the Olmec culture, the Mayan culture, you'll see that the priesthood and the knowledge of Tahuti and Atlantis left America and set up the colonies in Egypt. And that's why the first step pyramid of Dozier, that they say is the first pyramid of Kemet, is a step pyramid. I'll pass the mic. And so right here, before I pass it, right here is what they want. This is what they're battling. You are Ra, and he wants to lie. He wants to lie. The people who don't look like you, who rebelled against you, who you taught the sciences to, took out the caves and gave an opportunity to learn Ra, learn to be a god, learn to have a soul, learn to be a human, learn to be a man. And look what they did. The majority of them turned their back on us and demonized us. So to the left, you see who wants to take the position of Ra. This is what they want to do, y'all. They literally want to take over the Stargate. And so they have to distract us with their fake time. So when the mothership does return, you are not mentally and physically and spiritually prepared for ascension. And that's when you get trapped here. And that's why in the middle you see the military and you as the alien, because you are the alien. You are the extraterrestrial. Phone home. So I'll pass the mic as we start closing it up soon. And to end it also, look at how they're passing the sarcophagus. Look how they're passing it through the wormhole to protect themselves through the radiation or whatever type of liquid or type of vortex you pass through. So let's look at the sarcophaguses not just as burial chambers and cryo chambers, but let's look at them as devices that we use to pass through the wormhole physically when we didn't destabilize our atoms like we did here in Star Trek. So look at the person in the sarcophagus right here. So imagine when they function properly. This is why they dig up the sarcophaguses, put them in the museums. Because if they taught you about Lewis Latimer and the light bulb, and Lewis Latimer, Moor, and the light bulb and all the inventions of the 1800s, then you would see that when Moorish people, Indians, autonomous, indigenous, melanated people who are misclassified as Black and African American, us as Cometians, when us as aliens are left to ourselves, we can invent. So compare our inventions in the 1800s and imagine what our ancestors did with the pre-dynastic Egypt, a new kingdom, an old kingdom, a middle kingdom, a first, second, third, 21st dynasty. That's millions and thousands of years. So imagine if Lewis Latimer created that, imagine what we created with the Stargate. It's time to phone home. What do you guys feel about the Stargate being hidden and the knowledge of you being an alien? Did you guys ever watch Stargate?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you guys feel about the show?
One of the most popular shows, you know, and they were putting that knowledge out like way back, you know, that along with X-Files. You know what I'm saying? But that's heavy. And I had, when you were on the subject of the powerful pharaohs, you know, Akhenaten, you had came to mind, and I had a powerful a reflection, you know, a strong past life imprint. And what recently been happening is the phenomenon of 11/11, and it kept hitting me. So when I went back and researched the Tut, the pharaoh Tutankhamun, or King Tut, the most famous one, he had two daughters that were lost in stillbirth, and the titles of them daughters are 317A and 317B, and that's 11/11. You see what I'm saying? So you come back and you can make these connections, and the raw frequencies. We have these like past life imprints, you know, and if we do searching, you know, and utilize our own stargates and project back, we'll receive these imprints, we'll receive this hidden data, and more information of our, you know, our powerful and rich existence, you know, that dwells beyond the physical flesh. You see what I'm saying? So the Stargate technology, you know, it's extremely powerful, and I know that they are utilizing hadron colliders and their Stargates that are positioned, and I really believe that Elon is utilizing that technology as well. You know what I'm saying? And and these are non-human droids that are doing everything they can to get off of this planet, you know, because they already are aware of the Atlas or the mothership, you know, that's coming back, and they already are aware of balance, you know, that has to be restored. You know what I mean? Because the balance has to be restored. You know what I mean? Like The whole purpose of the shift is restoring the balance. So all this, the consciousness is rising, our awareness is coming back to us. The raw is waking up, and the paradigm we're shifting, in this paradigm, and the awakening is so powerful, it's so grand, So, and that one guy at the bottom in the right of the screen, yeah, remember the movie The Gods of Egypt? And then they had the Tahuti, the guy right there that played the Tahuti.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was putting out massive jewels, massive knowledge up in there, and that was that was heavy. But consciousness got a crystallized 3-eye atlas, third eye at last. The third eye is opening at last. Everything is subliminal. They know we're waking up. You know what I'm saying? There are signs in the heavens. The last days, the trumpet shall sound. The Donald trumpet shall sound. So no matter what they do to cover all this up, it's coming out. You know what I mean?
What do you feel, Larry? What do you feel about, I didn't ask you guys about, what did you guys feel about this picture and possible edifices and machines that were possibly used for interstellar travel or astral travel? What do you guys feel when you see this picture with your imagination and the knowledge and the understanding that you have when you look at this picture, when you look at these boxes as we start closing it out, or quantum leaping? But what do you feel with this?
Well, like how these boxes
the deep thing about that is like you have to go into the grave.
Larry's about to say something real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Whenever I see these boxes and how they are colored, like from black, it could transcend from dark matter and goes through a certain form of consciousness. For the gold version, I feel like it could take us back to time. The gray can also take us back to time, but it comes from an aspect of the past. Maybe like a marble stone. It brings us to a certain present moment that feels more astral projected, like a dream or a vision. And I believe there was another one, but when we enter these, yeah, I believe that one's it. Yeah, like in that that one right there. That one must be that one represents something, and it also awakens our inner consciousness.
What do you feel, Khalil, when you see the boxes or the phone booths?
Can you hear me, brother?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel that reminds me of the halls of Amenti. It reminds me of how Thoth went in the halls of Amenti and how he survived through so many centuries. You know that chamber that he walked into, the chamber that's under the Sphinx.
Yeah.
Down in the halls of Amenti, and it also looks like a grave. Like you actually have to go into the grave to wake up. And then there's a certain part of the pyramid of Giza where you have to like travel. You have to crawl like 100 feet, and it's symbolic to bowing. And then you get into the Hall of Bats. And when you get into the Hall of Bats, you can look directly.
Hey, let me show y'all something while Khalil is talking. Let me show you guys when I was inside of the temple of Sneferu. I didn't show people when I got out of the pyramid because I wanted to keep that for people who get initiated and go themselves. But this is me underneath the pyramid of, I believe, Sneferu in Kemet. And so we're like, feels like miles underground, and imagine the heat in Egypt. So this is one of some of the initiation processes that I was able to film. So this is a gift to y'all.
And we making this ascension back out. Breathe so some of this air get kissed by rock. That's right. Let's keep going. Let's go. So let them know what's up, brother. What are we doing right now? The world wants to know. Man, we walking out this tomb, the tomb of Sneferu, our great ancestors. We just invoke this spirit when you call upon an ancestor's name, that is to make them live again. And that's what we're doing. Ancestors living through us, the children, the original children of this land. We coming back. Bless. That's right. All right. You see, it's a journey, y'all. So I said, intelligent beings. You got that hole, boy. Look at that. See it. Here we go. Look at that. You gotta get that light when they get out that hole, bro. I'm gonna get it. You see that, y'all? You see it? Let's get that. That's how far we come so far. Got your wind up and don't got no heart. Oh man, you don't need no business in this tunnel. That's right. Oh shit, we got a minute. Let's go. Yes sir. Yes sir. Almost got it. Yes sir. Oh shit.
Got you, son.
Yo, what's up? It's Jason, the God MC, better known as Elmst. We out here in Africa, plain old Egypt, about to open the Stargates. You already know everything is atoms, photons, neurons, electrons. So we're gonna turn around right here, and we're gonna show you the Great Pyramid. That's the Great Pyramid. I'm the Great Pyramid. You're the Great Pyramid. We're living it up. Shout out to Toronto, US, Africa, Brazil.
Jane Street finest, man. Jane Street Candy Collection, Toronto. Out here, hey, see that?
Tough. You know?
You gotta do one of those.
So you guys see it. And that was 2009 with Ashra Kwesi, where I met my brothers from Toronto before a famous rapper from Toronto got big. So like I always say, the Draconians and the Raptors and the humanoid reptilians walk amongst us, some good and some bad. Like I say, we're reptilians. We are the extraterrestrials as well. So once again, you see proof. A lot of people on YouTube and Instagram, they talk a lot, but they haven't been. So I was about to pass the mic to Khalil. So brother, oh, here he goes. I was about to pass the mic to you. So what do you guys feel when you see videos of brothers in Egypt, such as myself, and you see proof as we start closing it out and relating it to interstellar travel? What was the pyramid to y'all?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, it's like how you mentioned from earlier. It's also connected to ley lines and how we could interstellar travel through many planes and many different dimensions. Yet, when we stand on it in a grounded perspective, it feels more home-like. Just like how the Indians, when they have mounds,
when we stand on top of the mounds, it brings a sense of wellness. But when you stand on top of it, and we have things like these boxes here, and when we travel through time, through consciousness and interdimensional means, we tend to transcend that knowledge to further generations, to another dynasty, to our present moment, to where we could perceive it right now as we speak in breath.
And Khalil, what do you feel when we talk about the pyramid's functions related to interstellar travel and the boxes that we see right here? What do you feel the functions when you see it?
I think about pyramid power, and I think about the actual structure of the pyramid and pyramid energy, because I utilize pyramids, you know, in ceremonies. I put them under the bed, and they you know, pyramid produces energy just by like setting it next to plants. You know, it promotes growth. But I also think about the pyramids in America, in the Grand Canyon, you know, and pyramids that are not discovered. And I wonder, you know, if there are pyramids, you know, that are in certain places where there are vortexes, you know, like there are places out here where they held the UFO conference over there at Joshua Tree.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And I just had on Joshua Tree over here. Keep talking.
Yeah, they had that huge UFO conference over there, and they also had Dr. Stephen Greer, you know, who was calling down the ships. But many years ago, I was out in LA and different places with Prophet Yahweh, and that was someone who was calling down UFOs out of the sky. And he was on film, and people thought he was crazy until the actual ship showed up, you know. And I also built with Brother Riley Martin, who was on Howard Stern's show, and that's another one who had dealt with who had interaction with the craft, you know. But the pyramid technology, it's very powerful, and a lot of crafts that I filmed myself were pyramid triangle structures, you know. So, yeah, look at that. Woo!
Land of Osiris. Good book, y'all.
For real.
And so this brother, Stephen S. Miller, he breaks it down, basically giving it up, talking about us being extraterrestrials, breaks it down, talks about the Mayans traveling to Egypt and Kemet. He speaks of the sun gods, which we are, you know, all these different great things. So go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, so if we utilize pyramid technology, it could elevate our experience with meditation, with raising the Kundalini, and it'll definitely raise the frequency and the vibration of your space. If you understand principles of feng shui, you know, of how we set things up, you know, how you align it. But I do want to make my way to Kemet and stand in the pyramid, you know, like you did, brother. I mean, that's one of the goals, because, you know, that's phenomenal, you know, where you were. I kind of feel like this anxiety when you was climbing in that small spaces. That's something, you know. It's just like, oh man, it takes a lot of, you know, it takes a lot of courage, you know, to be in the spaces, you know, spaces like that. But you know, you're a brother that's really in shape. You know, he was capable to do that.
Yeah, people started screaming. They had to take so many people back out. I mean, ladies started screaming, ah! Because you guys got to understand, you're going miles and feet underground. And then it does set in, because once you're underneath the pyramid, and then you go underneath certain tunnels, like Khalil was saying, for some of us who had access and had enough knowledge to go and in shape, you got to crawl. And it's like, it hits you. It's like, man, I could die in here. You know, I make the wrong mistake, I am going to die. There are a few times when I went away from Ashra Kwesi and I was getting guided and da-da-da-da. And he was like, all right. He said, now, these are the parts to where you go down when no one's going and they're letting you go down. But it's initiation. But I've been here 30 years. And if you don't come back, you know, I remember one time I was running around one of the temples thinking I'm pressing buttons, you know, like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
He's like, Jason, he said, I know you're having fun, but he said, I'm telling you, he said, I've seen things that I won't tell these people. And he said, if one of these things turn, and he said, and I looked at him, he said, I'm telling you, because there are a few times where I'll be decoding stuff. He said, brother, you've been here before. And he said, but go over there because you'll ruin my trip, because if people hear me talking like, you know, the stuff I knew in 09 still, it would turn people away. So imagine what I know now, you know. So when you guys go inside of these temples and pyramids, you see the initiation process. When you go down in these tunnels and you see, imagine when it was really lit up with all the rubies and diamonds and color, and then the light show. Because for me, it was also a light show, like they show you with holograms. They were doing a hologram show in ancient Comet as well. Like they show you with things behind you in a hologram show. Now you can get a hologram fan. It's the same thing. So also imagine in China, in Egypt with that, with light reflecting off of the temple walls with different colors, you having to bathe in the waters of a psychedelic plant and water for hours, and then you go into the temples and get initiated in certain degrees. And let's say they tell you, all right, Jason, Amun, when you go to this part of the temple, we know you a Scorpio, there's going to be some naked women. They're going to talk to you. Don't touch them. They're going to seduce you. You might be there 2 hours and forget. The moment you exit. But in ancient times, they chop your head off because you cannot go back and tell people. You know, or they drug you out so much when you go back, you forget. So then you learn about real initiation processes like the Delphi, where they talk about they drop you off in the middle of a certain part of the ocean and a dolphin will have to take you to a certain part of the island. Or when you get, I won't get further, but different initiation processes. And proof of my initiation process, I could show you guys, is you can go on my YouTube and you'll see me in the temple of Edufu or Edfu, EDFU, or the temple of Heru. And the first person you will ever see, probably the only person in the world that you will see with brothers with machine guns holding everyone down, while I create a rap video holding the temple of Heru with the falcon. You guys seen that? You'll see me perform a rap video. That shows you a real high initiation. You won't see any of the brothers on YouTube or any of them perform a real rap. They won't be allowed. So when I give you this real information, I'm giving it from the soul, the heart, you know, building with brothers like Khalil. So I'll pass the mic. So I channel as well, y'all. You know, we activate these special abilities as superheroes. They try to show you just the brothers who play sports, the comedians who act silly on TikTok. The new cool is being God, being Amen, an Amen Ra, a Patah, a scientist, an analyzer. You feel me? That's the new cool, because we are the culture. We create the new culture. Do not be a follower. They created these cultures and ideas for you to grab onto to be misled. And so when we look in ancient Egypt in initiation processes, that's what's going on right now in the world that's missing. I'll explain it to hip hop before I pass the mic. Back in the day, not too long ago, you had to be initiated into hip hop, not Hollywood hip hop. Our initiation versus today, when a kid can just record an album or record a song and put it on YouTube and it can blow up. It didn't work like that. You had to actually write your skills. See, the world is going so fast right now to where most people don't have time to write in their books and write their book of rhymes and sit down and really spend time to get your thesaurus, your dictionary like you had to do. Back in the day, you really had to work on your craft. If you were an MC, that's why they called it the craft. Let's not call it hip hop anymore. I call my music thunder rock, but let's call it the craft. Hip hop is dead right now. You know what I'm saying? And I know that I love hip hop, but we have to identify with letting go of a word. We are the craft. So what I'm saying is that back in the day, the initiation process was one, you putting in the work in your craft, which is practicing your craft, and then performing your craft in front of your peers, which we call a cipher, which Khalil was talking about earlier, a digital cipher. So that cipher, you were amongst your peers where brother be like, he's whack. You might not be able to rap, and if you messed up a cipher, you get your butt kicked in certain ciphers or worse. And so, like in Cahoots in Riverside is an example to where there would be like 6 different ciphers going on, and there were stages of the ciphers. That's an initiation process. When you go to different parts, different neighborhoods, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the coolest thing to do was find a rap battle at a party. 20 years ago, everybody at the party, the dudes were rap battling, they were freestyling. There was no YouTube, there was no TikTok, there was none of that. So the social aspect of hip hop was still in its raw, rawest form.
Yes.
And that's the initiation process that you did. And then you had to try out for a talent show if someone thought you were good enough against other dope MCs. And then you make it to the quarterfinals and all that. And then maybe you can get to the good shows. That's an initiation. So don't allow people to, like Khalil was saying with the Cobra, to them to deify when Halloween is coming up as a Scorpio. I'm born around those times. I'm born October 25th. And so during the time of this veil, we're able to talk to our ancestors. We're able to communicate with the living. They call it the Egyptian Book of the Dead, but it's the living because you never die. That's why they separate us. And so when my father passed, he was talking to me saying, Jason, it's you. He said, no one's left yet. He said, we're all still here waiting on you. He said, son, do not stop. He said, everything that you were saying, he said, I apologize. He said, you were right. Because before he even passed, he said, you've been saying I'm on to something, but he said, son, I'm proud of you. And he said, so he's still here. And he shows me the different degrees. He said, I still got to go to class and I'm learning. And he said, so when I say I'm here with you, he said, sometimes I'm gone doing other stuff. And then I'm checking on another family member. There's different degrees on how you can check on people depending on what you did during this life, son. So he said, the greater you do in this life, the greater I excel in what you would call the heavenly realm. It looked like a advanced city, what he showed me. And so what it is that if they can manipulate us into thinking and basically controlling your afterlife thought by giving you heaven, a word, and saying heaven and hell, you have to serve this God for eternity. If you give your soul to this deity and God, you will have to live out that contract. And if you're a melanated being and you worship a being who doesn't look like you, you're going to serve a white Jesus for eternity. And you see how they treat you now. And so your best bet is to serve your ancestors, which are the answers. So they say ancestors, but they're the answers to your problems. They're the solutions. And so your ancestors left you principalities and principles to live by in the form of word spells. So when we say Amun, when we say Amen, when we say Amen Ra, when we say Setepen Ra, or Ptah, or Tehuti, we are calling on the names of our ancestors so they live again. And so when I left the code, Jason, July, August, September, October, November, I knew that I was going to get a brainwash. But I left different codes for myself to wake up. I understood certain sciences, and they knew that. Jason, Elm Street. I didn't call myself Elm Street. The homies named me that. My father named me Jason. You think that's a coincidence that I'm born October 25th next to their Halloween date, and they have Jason in the mask, and then my name is Elm Street, and and all this stuff is July, August, September, October, November, which is summertime, which is Sumer. They say Sumer, but it's summer. Or Sumer is the extraterrestrial, because I'm one of the gods and creators of summer. Sumer. In the flesh, in this avatar, to come speak to you as the Messiah. Jason and the astronauts, Jason and the Argonauts. I have the golden fleece. The true teacher, the mistranslation of my name, Jason, is Jesus. You just mistranslation with the J, the Y, Hassan, Harus, Ha-son. You think it's a coincidence that I was raised in the Nile Riverside? My mom's the first black female president of Compton High School. ASB female president. Compton Boulevard, that's not a coincidence, y'all. We each are messiahs, but each of us are chosen paths, like LeBron James was chosen to choose basketball. A lot of the brothers on the internet are in the way of I. They're in the way and put in the place of the distractions. Brother Khalil has seen me speak 3 years ago. Pack house when it was raining. Now imagine if all these fake conscious people and fake conscious leaders weren't in the way. Now you're hearing people come here, brothers such as myself, speak who's really been to the land. Not only just in the streets and teaching, but always been a leader, always been a winner, captain of the team. Then took the time not only to teach the streets in my tour van and my album, also in the classroom, substitute teaching on my land. So I gave back to the community. Then I was a high school track and field coach to where all my kids and stars, league champions, CIF champions, NCAA champions, and Olympic qualifiers. USC, you know what I'm saying?
Word.
Director of Education for Riverside County Black Chamber of Commerce. I traveled and backpacked Africa in 06, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking. So when I say brothers are in the way, is that it's in the way of us getting our land back. You know, you see the fake people. We have real things when you come to Riverside. So when we get the land and have the land, we're building the building. So all nations are going to want to build with us. Most people aren't going to want to build and put in the real work. They just talk on YouTube because this is real work, meaning that you have to go through hell, y'all, because you're living in hell right now. Not just your body, but society. So in order to get to heaven, what do you got to go through, y'all? You got to go through hell. That's the whole point. Meaning that when you realize that you're in hell, you can you're so comfortable in it, it's like F. Or you can say, I'm about to leave. Like the term one step forward to Ra, one step forward towards God is just one step out of hell. And if you're going to heaven and you already know you've been in hell, you got to walk through hell, and you're going to pass people. You're going to pass obstacles. You're going to pass things, and you got to keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And once you get out of hell, you're in heaven. And now you don't need. Now it's time not to go back and get people. If you're at this level now watching the show, you've already gone back and forth getting people out the fire. This is the call. This is the final call. Just like all the animals when they leave for an earthquake, you already know that they have been violent towards you. What do you think they're going to do when the blackout happens? What do you think they're going to do when the Rouse, the Walmarts, when there's no food, there's no farms in the city, there's no food, there's no wild animals for people to eat. Your gardens aren't that large to feed people. So what's going to happen in California? It's going to be escape from LA in the major cities. This is why we have to prepare for an exodus, y'all. So this is the time right now more than ever. Whether the spacecraft comes or not, we know that we have to exit this land soon, or we get the land and have them pearly gates behind it. So for me, it's either, we get the technology to defend our land, the magical dragons and giants will defend the land. Those are mystical dreams. But in all reality, the world has proven that they hate us as gods. They hate the messiahs. They murder the messiahs. They murder the gods because they're jealous of us. And so the best plan is to exit because they don't appreciate us. And for me, that's what a pickup would be, is that some of us would get picked up, and then the other spacecrafts are going to have to put in work. And that's what they've been showing in the movies. That's what they talk about in these books with the war in the heavens and war in the sky. That's why they're spraying the sky, because there's stuff going on in the sky right now that they're blocking, y'all.
Yes.
And there's holographic technology with the drones that the brothers were saying that they're going to put a picture in drones, so we can also be manipulated with a fake space invasion as well. Because you've already seen the drone technology that they do, where they could put a picture. Imagine if they created an earthquake or some devastation events and put a hologram of a white Jesus and a loudspeaker that started talking. The majority of people would believe that Jesus Christ has returned, and if they fake the spaceship with white people coming out of the spacecraft, that would be the show V. Watch the show The V, and those are the bad guys. If they're not melanated, if they don't look like us, do not trust them. Don't get on the ship. No one who doesn't look like you is your friend right now. Most people who look like you aren't your friend. That's why in the movie they showed you in the Matrix that anyone can turn into an agent. Your mom, your friend, your family. It's no time to F around now. And it's about to be Halloween. I told y'all this year that the Jason months are going to be the most bloody. There's so many murders this year that y'all forget about them. Every week there's a murder. This tragedy after tragedy, blood sacrifice, and you're being distracted about the UFOs and the aliens landing left and right. They're here. They're escaping from Area 51. There was a fire at Area 51. There was a fire in the Grand Canyon. So-called pale-skinned Europeans like Grant Hancock are telling you about ancient civilizations that predate Europeans. Europeans are telling you that these are things that they would get murdered for back in the day. So they're telling you about the Olmecs. They're saying they can be, even Joe Rogan saying they're black, because what they're going to do and what they're doing now is they're saying, they're not African, they're not black, they're not Moorish. The Egyptians, they took on a prior civilization. Anything to say it wasn't them. And then you'll have our own people talk about the pale skin, blonde hair, blue eyes. Don't fall into that. Our people, when they talk about getting in contact with them, it's not a friendly situation for the majority of the time, unless they were our students. If they came here not as our students, are willing to be our students, which they say enslave, but really, when you look at it, if you're a caveman and you want to learn about science and farming and how to build a city, just like anything, we're going to have to initiate you. We're going to have to put you through certain degrees. So, you want to learn to build pyramids and cities and towns and learn geometry? Stand under this sun and cut these stones. Because we had to do it for thousands and thousands of years to develop this technology. It didn't happen overnight. It took time. It took a process. And so what happened is that our students turned on us. And here we are today. And that's what they show you in Stargate. They turned on Ra. And that's what they're going to do again. They're going to turn on you. So for us, we must continue to say, mothership, return. Ra turn. Ra rise. Not Ra rise. Because re is rewind. Start saying Ra and roll it with your tongue. Ra. Because when you go it actually helps activate your pineal gland. That's when you go to different countries, they'll have a and so when you speak like this, it's no baritone in your voice. That's why they're sick. And so really you can heal yourself by going ooh, just like the music note. And that's the baritone. The bass in your voice can activate chakras inside of you that they can't, because their nasal passage doesn't allow them to contact your ancestors. And those are the tones. Because you remember when you get a cold, you talk like this. And you talk congested. So it's the tones. It's the back. Cuckoo! Boom, 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 boom. Start beatboxing again, y'all. You remember that was another thing we used to do. Beatboxing is a form of healing as well. Boom, boom, feel it in your chest. Boom, boom, boom. And then you had to come up off the top. That's some of the most intelligent things. That's why it's called rapping, because the Pharaoh was a rapper. The Pharaoh was a rapper. That's why Michael Jackson was the baddest, because he was able to convey a message of love and music and unity and magic. And here's the difference before I pass the mic, before we end it. Music is sick, Mu or Moorish culture. We're supposed to say magic. Anything sick is sick, and Mu is health. So if it's Mu sick, they're saying that anything that we're saying that's what they call raw or godly is sick. So it's magic. It's magic. Magi. The Jedi. And that's why it sounds like the Jedi is the Jedi. The Jedi. The Jedi are us. And that's who we are. Star Wars, spaceships coming, the Yoda, the Yahweh, the Yuda, Utah. And then you learn about Utah, y'all. Learn about all those structures that you see throughout the Americas that we built. The pale-skinned Europeans didn't build these ancient structures that you find in your downtown cities. Our next episode, I'm going to break down the city of Redlands, and I'm going to show you the city of Riverside, ancient structures, and I'm going to show you how they lie and say that they built these structures in the late 1800s, but truly they founded these structures. And I'm going to show you how when you see pale-skinned Europeans next to dirt roads, next to mega structures, is proof that they're taking pictures that they found in abandoned buildings, just like they do today. Anything to leave us with, y'all?
I just wanted to say, when you had spoke about how your dad spoke to you when he crossed, I had that same experience. People that did not adhere to the knowledge or the message, when they crossed over, then they want to get the knowledge. Now they realize we are of great value. You know what I'm saying? Our message is of great importance. And this is over 5 people that crossed over that came and visited me. Now they want to learn. Now they want to get the lessons. You know what I'm saying? Now they're connecting the dots because they're realizing they cannot ascend or get out of that holding area or that reach a 5th dimensional level of vibration without these weapons.
When you were talking, I didn't mean to interrupt your wisdom, but keep talking. But Beetlejuice original had a scene at the end where it was like a waiting room. You guys remember that scene? It's like almost that to where it is. So keep talking. Watch the original Beetlejuice at the end where it's like a waiting room in death before they send you off to different realms. And it's like you getting coins to see how far you can go in the afterlife. But keep going.
Yeah, and my dad had a heart surgery, and the day that he had it, I had timed. I was unable to be there, you know, physically, but I had timed when they the duration of the procedure which was like 7 hours, and so I projected out of the body when they stopped his heart, and I seen him in a holding place along with thousands of others, you know, all different walks of life, and they're in a holding space. And these are not just people who were having operations. These were people sedated, accidents, under loss of consciousness. But it was a place, it was a center, a middle place where these souls were being held, and the attachments and the parasites that were on them while they are on whichever earth that they came from were still on them now. So that place, it was astral, you know, and they had technology that would neutralize these parasites and allow us to have communion or a conversation, you know, with our loved ones that are in that holding place. I'm not going to say the afterlife because it was in between life, you know, like or when somebody is resuscitated, you know, are drowned, you know, and those that are able to like come back, you know, there's a place that they are held, you know, and it's extraordinary. So when you said that, you know, that is I immediately like experienced that, you know, and these souls, it's amazing how they know which one of us to come to. They always come to the ones that are given the knowledge, you know, the ones that are of great energy, high vibration, because they know that we will pass the message. You know, I had a soul tell me, let them know that live without me. You know, I'm fine. And it's just like, wow, you know, like, how are you able to hold a vibration to communicate with me? You didn't go to church. You wasn't spiritual when you was alive. But they're still able to reach out to the raws. You see what I'm saying? They're able to connect with the raws. So there are selected few of us who have the ability, who have the Netaru frequency, who are familiar with the Per M Haru, the book of coming forth by day. You know what I'm saying? And it's a reason that we got this information, because we already mastered it in previous lifetimes. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, amazing information, brother. Really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? The build was phenomenal. Much love and peace and blessings to everybody, you know what I'm saying, who joined in on this build, you know, and it's definitely going to, like, lift many, many people up, you know. Elm Street always bringing it. You know what I mean? For real, 111.
Anything to close us out with, Brother Larry?
Oh yeah. To all the people out there who are lost, when you step out of your comfort zone, and when you step into your inner consciousness, even outer, you can always learn to become a master learner, to a master teacher, to a master student.
I love it, brother. I love it. Now, as I close it out with these brothers, we're going to give a quick summary of what we did today, y'all. You got Brother Williams as the Pharaoh. Where did you get the knowledge from? Where did you get the technology from? This is what we're doing now. Where is our technology? Where did they hide it? It's in our face. We see it today. Linking our last names. Do not believe what they told you with our last names. They are the Slavics. They are the cave people. They did not have the last names Williams, Jefferson, Thompson. They took on our names. Study the Gilded Age as well. So this is who they're trying to be, is Ra. When we say Ra and Amen Ra, that is you. That is I. That is you when you are performing, not just practicing. Like they say when you go to Kaiser, they're just practicing on you. And then they'll perform their surgery. We are performing surgery in Kemet long before that. Just like Khalil, the analyzer, said tonight, when you see the ambulance and when you see the medical sign, the Medunecha, medicine, you see this. You see the serpent sign. The Hippocratic Oath of Imhotep is what they call it. Study Imhotep. Study the step pyramid. Stargate. We studied today. We've been talking. Excuse me. We studied today with Stargate, with Atlas, 3-Eye Atlas. With Stargate to the right, we see that the Europeans found the technology already. We see that they already made movies and TV shows with intricate plots of each god when you study Stargate SG-1. They get into Hathor, they get into Akhenaten, they get into Ra. It's based off of Ra, it's based off of you. And it's also teaching you in the movie how they brought diseases to other planets. Because the professor is sneezing. Go watch the movie again. They didn't get into detail about that, but he was sneezing. He brought diseases. And then to the left, Kurt Russell, what did he do? He brought a bomb to the planet. So it's showing you that they've been traveling throughout the galaxy doing what they do best. Like Elon Musk said, alien, they want to colonize Mars. So who knows? They might have dropped a bomb on another planet. Hopefully that is a craft, because we need help. That's the only way up out of this, y'all. I mean, let's get real. Alien Harvester, explain. Go watch the movie, I believe it was Run, with my boy Kenny Lawson. He was in the show The Parkers. It was about the aliens coming down with the black people and people getting eaten. So organ harvesting, that's what I connect with the Raptor and the Raptures with Drake. No coincidence that Drake, Toronto, Canada, Raptors, Drake, Draconian. His name is Aubrey. Yep. But he's a so-called Jew, mix. Dad's from Memphis, Tennessee, where the pyramids are. Memphis. These are people who are put in place. These are extraterrestrial beings walking amongst you. There's no coincidence that Kawhi Leonard hit the game-winning shot for Toronto. He's from where? Riverside, Moreno Valley, Riverside County. That's not a coincidence. They had Drake win the Toronto because all that is led up. And who destroyed the demon or Drake? Where was the brother from? Compton. So they circumvent the energy and they put a Hollywood brother in place because the true lords of the underground aren't in the algorithm, y'all. They try to take us off. And then Parliament, y'all. Our brothers like the Funkadelics, the psychedelics. We were trading plants. This is what we did. We were on a planet where we were trading mushrooms, jewels of El. Don't let them think that paper money is the currency. Don't allow them to make you think that crypto or dead currency is the currency. That's the trap. And then the Gual Empire. Brother Khalil, the analyzer, was talking about the parasites. Learn about the Gual and how the parasites, that's what our ancestors said they were fighting as well. This is why you learn about the living, the nutrients. Instead of a diet, let's not say die. I don't want to diet. I want to live it. So let's have a living nutrient way of living in food intake. Because the Gual, also our people, were taken over by parasites. So clearly there were melanated people that got taken over by the parasites. And here, the ship destroyer from Independence Day. This is what we call the east winds, the west winds that they talk about in your books. Those are spacecrafts. So just like this, the movies show you, the crafts are going to be set up throughout the city. Small crafts like we do the pro crafts. And then when the mothership returns, that's what they say, the Father who art in heaven. So when the Father and the Mother return, they return in Ra's ship, the mothership. In the middle, Alan Strange, Alien, they always call you Strange. Nickelodeon, the black shows, at least they had on Nickelodeon, instead of all that, they would drop some jewels in there. Study Alan Strange. To the left, we already see for the first time in history, you used to have to buy DVDs, go to conferences. Now they're revealing that not only are we talking about extraterrestrials in the sky, but the ocean. We have to remember that they tell us over and over and over that this is a water world, that this was a water planet, that it was just water. This is why there's fins, because you are an aquatic being. This is why they created dams and flooded your cities, poisoned your water, because our cities were set up next to lakes, rivers, and oceans, so you could jump in the ocean. This is why they put liquor stores in your cities, so you dehydrate yourself. Because we, in the next episode, I want to teach you guys about not just about Abydos, but it's a place where I study. We're going to learn about water. And through my studies, we were creating water with music, meaning that we were using the pyramid and the water coming up out of the ground to do. You talk about multiple functions, but through my studies, as I end the episode, because it's coming to me again, that when I went and was touching the water, Quasi was looking, they did a test in this water, and once they cleaned it out, this person did the test, and the water that they drank healed them. And so the water that you see that we're going to talk about in one of our next episodes is healing water. And so in ancient Kemet, through my studies, they use natural spring water, but you see how they go to America and Riverside for the Fountain of Youth in Florida and all throughout, and they drink the healing water. This is why the Europeans also came, because they're sickly people. And so what it was is that the Fountain of Youth also can spring up from the earth or terra. So now imagine when we get a Fountain of Youth, the water, but we create a machine that a water that goes through certain crystals, certain vibrations, certain hums, certain sounds, and moving and all these things, and then you can drink it, and it heals you and takes you to another dimension. And that's when we learn about the breatharians and the water, aqua. And so what if we were able to live off of water as well and certain nutrients? And so we're going to study that. And because once again, they tell you that they only discovered less than 10%, I think, of the ocean. So once again, those crafts are coming up from the ocean as well. Comets hurtling towards the solar system is much bigger than previously thought. They're distracting you with the Charlie murder, the Epstein files, because 2 weeks ago they told you that the military shot at a spacecraft and that parts flew off, started flying mechanically, intelligently, and then went back into the spacecraft. So once again, they're showing you on TV that there's a war in the sky right now. That's the most important thing that you should be preparing for, because we do not know the day. And once again, the telephones. Maybe they took out the telephones because we were going to be picking up signals from different dimensions. And so they had to cut off the phones. And once again, they didn't want us to possibly connect the dots, because the same sound of the ringing in your ears or when you eat certain psychedelics is the same sound when you press the dial tone. Or when you used to tune into AOL with the CD, the down on ding ding, that's you connecting to the motherboard. And then we broke down Dendera, as you see to the top. You see them holding to the right. It looks like a monkey of some sort. It looks like a baboon holding what you would call a car charger, a left and negative charge. And we see a machine right here. Then once again, black inventions of the 1800s, but Moorish inventions. Louis Latimer Moore, right here, proving that we are capable of our own inventions. This is why we need to separate, because when we're separate and we have our own land, our own clean water, and our own natural resources, we create cities of grandeur. We create heaven here, and then we can go as well. Stargate, there's ways to get up off the planet. This is why they once again try to bind you in these religions. They try to bind you with these words. They try to bind you with these spells. There's a way off the planet without dying, y'all. Once again, they put Nikola Tesla in front of our own inventions to once again destroy your self-confidence, because we are those people. Study Dendera, and what is at the end of the name Dendera? Ra, light bulb. Stargates we talked about. The sarcophagus, technology, being able to go into a machine and heal so you can live 500, 1,000 years. Then also being put into a sarcophagus made of gold, rubies, emeralds, so you are protected when they send you through the wormhole to another planet, dimension, landmass, so you can go through safely and come out through the other side, just like a plane. Once again, study the Karnak temple, the car of Ra, the car Ra, the Ka Ra. So study the Ka. The portals to the stars, the fallen gods, the astrological deacons, tarets. They use the stars to control the stock market. So when you see people who don't look like you winning in the stock market, and then the Bitcoin trade is already rigged, y'all. They're using the stars and your technology and your culture against you, because you, or some of us, don't want to practice and perform your culture. Star gods of the time, reclaim it. We talked about what if I told you stargates are real? And then once again, look at this sarcophagus. Look at the precision. Look at the technology. They taught us in school that we didn't have these tools, but clearly this is electrical tools. So imagine, and then they tell us that we put dead bodies in there. So when they find dead bodies, those bodies were in cryostasis, y'all. Those bodies were still perfectly preserved until the air hit them. So that meant that that ancestor was still living, but they were somewhere else waiting to be activated. So imagine when we were able to put our ancestor, who was still perfectly preserved, in the shrine that we showed, and they could come out of the sarcophagus perfectly preserved, teaching us knowledge. That's what Michael Jackson was teaching us with Thriller. That we were able to wake the dead using certain rods. That's why we mummified certain deities and certain beings. That's why we put them in certain sarcophaguses, granite. So right here, you see the Stargate once again. You see the stars, which are portals, stargates, pictography, pictures speak 1,000 words, hieroglyphs, wormholes, to the left, black holes, white hole. So right here, you see our ancestors teaching you and telling you, these are clues that you left behind to remind you of who you are, that you are not alone in the universe, and that there is a way home. It's not a pipe dream, even though the pipe dream Mario Brothers is teaching you how to travel through time. So when you understand that there's other dimensions and extraterrestrial beings right here, there's a way up out of this. There's a way up out of the suffering. There's a way up out of this racism. But they want us to believe that this is it. We don't have to suffer anymore. There's gateways up out of here. And just like we showed the technology right in our face, the same technology that we used before Christ, BC, they use today. So this is thousands of years ago. We already have this technology. So imagine what we should be doing right now. And we call this the Jedi, or the Jed pillar, which is actually technology. But you see the brother or sister representing the Jed pillar, because you as well are the Jed pillar. So now we have to learn, if we are trapped here, to get up out of here. Do not allow others who were created as humans, man and mankind, to make you believe that you are human. You are not a human. And some of them are. Some people look like us, but they're not us. So this is for the extraterrestrials. This picture in the center represents you, what we call a Merkaba. Mer, once again, Mu, Ma, Merkaba. And then it represents the technology inside of you, using your chakras, your serpent energy to possibly get up out of here. But most likely we're going to need help, because we were not taught to perform at this level. So, and to the left, you see the instructions. Those are the instructions that we're supposed to be reading and deciphering. Nothing else. This is why we perform together and stick together. More than ever, us as aliens and extraterrestrials have to stick together. And once again, you see the face knocked off. This is a picture that I took to the right. You can go to my YouTube and website, and you actually can see me perform yoga and, like I say, time travel. And it's proof that I've been there. And then it's proof of what I teach, as far as when the light hit me, of me leaving here and coming back with certain information. And also, this is art. This is not only art, but it's a machine. It's technology. It's called the Osiris pillar and the Jed pillar. You guys go study it. This is your culture. This is your education system. This is our curriculum. This is what we're supposed to be learning every day. Every single day, we practice our culture, just like every other culture. The Asian man, the China man, the Jewish man, the Mexican are cons. They practice their culture, and that's how they thrive. The Mexicans don't call themselves brown anymore. They did that to steal your culture and get next to you. The yellow man don't call himself yellow anymore, or Oriental, or Mongoloid. Because what did we call Mongoloids 30 years ago? Mongoloids were considered what? There was another word for it. Now they call it, I don't want to say the R word. So mentally challenged. And so the original people of this technology, we can find all over the world. This is why they knocked the nose off, y'all, because it's proof. It does something to your DNA. Just like when we were in school and they used to laugh at us when they would show the naked black African woman. Imagine how we felt. But imagine how they were empowered laughing at us. So they were lied to as well. They were lied to. And so use these pictures that I'm showing you of a brother who actually went. These are the education systems that we're building at the Matrix University. We're not going to teach ourselves and you that we were slaves. We're not going to build museums teaching our youth. That's why they're telling you that they're already telling you now that they're not dealing with this slave stuff anymore. Now, you can be a so-called black person and be miseducated and get in your feelings, or you could read and understand that they are Slavs. They were So you got to do your research, because at the end of the day, this is not their land. Egypt wasn't their land. Learn about Herodotus. Learn about Greece and Rome. The founders and the most intelligent people of Greece said that they based their education systems off of Comet. All the deities that you find in Greece and Rome are based off of Kemet, which we know as ancient Egypt. Today is Tuesday, or Monday, or Wednesday. These are all our Thursday off of Thor, or Tahuti. These are based off of you. So when you look at this hieroglyph, this is solid evidence. It's more powerful than a Bible, because a Bible can be a Bible can be edited. And this is what they're doing when they knock the nose off of these structures. They're editing history. But why? Why would someone go to so much trouble to deny the only group of people on the planet their history? Why? Why would they make you want to be black? Why do they make you an African American? Why do they make you believe in a God that doesn't look like you? It's because they do not want you to know where you come from. And what's the saying? If a person does not know where they come from, they do not know where they're going. And that's why our people are lost. They think that they come from a slave ship. They think that they come from nothing. So now they can interject that you're a Christian, that you're black, that you're an African. Much love, but remember, Africa is a new word that was created by Europeans. It was also called Kush. Ethiopia would go to the word etheric, or aether, or etheric beings. And then like we said, Gib, Terra. So our Alakibulan. This is why it's imperative to study Kemet. What was that, brother?
Ifriqiya. That was also another one.
There you go. And then you see Ra, and then Wadarjet. Wadjet. You see the jet and the wand. And remember, vowels are interchangeable, y'all. A-E-I-O-U. So the Wajet, the wand of the Jedi. And you're looking at technology. Study the technology of ancient Kemet by looking at the hieroglyphs. And then do not allow them to manipulate your mind that those who came up out of Alakibulan, which today is misclassified as Africa, did not build ships. I've seen the ships for myself, y'all. So Africans sailed. They already told you that Moors traveled the 7 seas. So what is it that you just pass an invisible border and your color changes? There were no such thing as borders back in the day. So they've convinced the world that the moment people left the word called Africa, a landmass called Africa, their skin color changed pale, their hair turned straight, and became smarter. Because that's what they're saying to us. They're saying that if you're dark skinned and you have a different hair texture than everyone, that you guys are idiots. But look at this. I've seen these. I've taken these pictures, y'all. Look at Anubis to the top left. That's Ampu, the hairless dog that comes out of where, y'all? That comes up out of America. America is the true old world, the hairless black dog. So right there, once again, we see that Anubis, let me show you real quick, since we're on it. Look at that. You find that dog in Mexico. And it reads, the Egyptian god Anubis is from the Americas. I mean, the ancient Egyptian god Anubis is from the Americas, because you can clearly see the Anubis pattern of the Chilo dog, Xolot, which is a native dog to the Americas. Same with the hawk, Haru, Kanum, the ram. The ram is found in the Americas. I went to Colorado State Rams, you know. And then, like we talked about, different stones, different granite used for electricity. So imagine a modern day phone booth. We were talking about the dream world. Our ancestors spoke of different dream worlds, right? So the granite boxes were tuned to different frequencies. And so I wanted to, I almost forgot. I got to play this video.
Researchers believe that energy produced by the sarcophagi was intended to induce altered states of consciousness. Others have proposed an even more profound possibility, that the stone boxes were used for teleportation.
The idea that these sarcophagi or boxes are some kind of teleportation device may seem, pretty amazing, but the ancient Egyptians did believe in this kind of a thing. And the idea of pharaohs going to stars and other places, that's part of the Egyptian religion.
This is not far-fetched in light of what we know about the ancient Egyptian belief in the transfiguration of the human body into light or lightning.
While some researchers believe that energy produced by the sarcophagi was intended to induce altered states of consciousness, others have proposed an even more profound possibility, that the stone boxes were used for teleportation.
The idea that these sarcophagi or boxes are some kind of teleportation device may seem, pretty amazing, but the ancient Egyptians did believe in this kind of a thing. And the idea of pharaohs going to stars and other places, that's part of the Egyptian religion.
This is not far-fetched in light of what we know about the ancient Egyptian belief in the transfiguration of the human body into light or lightning.
While some researchers believe that energy produced...
So right there, even those who don't look like us are studying us. How is it that people who don't look like us are able to make documentaries, film it, and then make money off of it and make a living? Have you noticed that the entire world is basically based off of us? And so basically the world operates off of our ignorance. They're able to use our principles, our teachings, and our educational cultures to create their reality. And so I'm going to also end it to show you guys what happened with our Olmec manuscripts, because through my studies, if you think that the Spanish Inquisition and the burning of the Library of Alexandria was bad, when we learn about what they did with the MesoAmerica, which is basically us as the original Mayans and Aztecs, and we learn that the new statues and the paintings that we see of the Mayans are fake, just like they did in Comet, there really should be an outrage. Even they are admitting it. Check this out.
The burning of the Maya codices from Diego de Landa in 1574. He gathered all of the writing in the Maya world together in the city of what is modern day Merida, and he burned it all up. And it was called multiple pyres, and he burned all that history. Today we only have 3 or 4 that exist. So he destroyed all of the written history of the Mesoamerican world in one fell swoop. And to give you an idea of just how much it was, when the Spaniards arrived in the Aztec world, the Aztecs were producing 250,000 pieces of paper a year. It's an incredible amount of written knowledge, and all of that knowledge is burned and gone. The burning of the Maya code.
And so right there, they just told you that they've been erasing history, because once again, if we saw more of the original Aztec monuments and Maya monuments, we would see that us as Mayans, Olmeca, the original Mayans, traveled to ancient Comet. We are the same people. It's a global education system. And so we'll be going on for a while. We'll close it out. And like I said, you guys study your culture. For me, this is proof of interstellar travel in machines to physically teleport, and then also to what they call astral project on a higher level. But right here, for me, they would transport this vehicle through the wormhole. You come out with the sarcophagus and the gear that you will wear to wherever the destination was. I'm JasonElmst Williams. I'm gonna leave you guys with one of these cool videos, and I want you guys to imagine who you are, what you are tonight and today. We are infinite beings. It's time to phone home. I'm July, August, September, October, November. The Messiah, Jason Ra. To who?
Long before the world knew its own name, before Columbus sailed, there was Temeri, a land of wonder, built by black indigenous Atlanteans, the true giants of history, architects of the world's fairs, once called the world's expositions. They harnessed advanced free energy and lived in harmony with the land, in peace, in abundance. These Tartarian Atlanteans towered above all, their cities gleaming with ornate beauty, their inventions humming with cosmic power, every man and woman thriving without want. And yet, that world of wonder would not last. From across the seas, the Cabbage Patch arrived. Foreign invaders who, ignorant of the knowledge before them, with bombs, explosives, and fire, they tore through the ornate halls, reducing crystal towers to rubble and turning fountains of healing into pools of ash and smoke. The very technology meant to elevate humanity was smashed beneath their feet. Little did they know, these black indigenous Americans were not unlearned. Their ancestors had traveled across oceans, teaching, uplifting, sharing wisdom with those who lived in darkness. And yet, the same hands that received knowledge brought destruction. They shattered the structures, burned the records, and rewrote history to hide the truth. The world forgot who had truly built the land, who had first harnessed free energy, who had walked in peace, while the invaders clawed their way out of ignorance. Centuries of erasure followed. The builders were rebranded as inferiors. Their inventions were stolen and claimed by others. Scientists like Edison and Tesla, who stood upon the shoulders of those who came before. Tesla was not one man, but a collective of minds whose work was twisted, hidden, and distorted to feed the machinery of capitalism. And yet, the Atlanteans of Temeri still live today. Though treated poorly, misunderstood, and often lied about, their brilliance endures. The world may try to erase them. The Atlanteans of Temeri.
Say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. African dashiki, uncle around my neck, got his ISIS tatted on my belly, all about respect. I do it for the gods, I live for my queens, all my niggas kings, captain of my team. Life is just a dream, life ain't what it seems. You're just a player in the game if you don't own the league. Hop on the magic carpet, fly with me to a whole new world that they call Elm Street. Stay away from haters, stay away from busters, because in Never Land ain't no room for these suckers. Stay away from haters, stay away from busters, because in Never Land ain't no room for these suckers. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop, and when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock.
Oh my dear Mr. Williams. Information is power. If you don't have the information, one cannot seize power. You need to think about becoming mentally competitive. Being black does not free you from being a responsible individual.
Riverside, the turf, we in another zone. So futuristic, welcome to the Thunderdome. Posted in the hood, the homie got the throne. And if you niggas tripping, silver bullets getting blown. Took it with real killers that'll kill you at your home. And if you niggas tripping, your body hitting the flow. Fuck the police is the code that I live by. Kill a pig, cook the swine, fuck the cop, I hope they die. Black man in America, I'm not supposed to shine. Living in this white man's world is a waste of time.
Black man in America, I'm not supposed to shine. Living in this white man's world is a waste of time.
They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. They say a nigga hot, they say I won't stop. And when I reach the top, I'ma scream thunder rock. Thunder rock, thunder rock.
Welcome to the world-famous King Tut Museum. Be sure to respect the ancient relics. The ancient Egyptians were a magical people who built numerous beautiful, magnificent structures, like the world-famous pyramids and temples. No running inside. Scientists till this very day still do not know how the Egyptians built the pyramids.
I wonder, did aliens ever visit ancient Egypt?
Wow, look at that giant Egyptian statue. It looks just like you, Jason.
Thanks, Toby. You're a super cool friend. Imagine what the world would look like if I was the pharaoh.
Jason, you are daydreaming. Wake up.
Sorry, history got away from me.